Hello everybody and welcome to Harder Scrolls number 5. It's actually quite a good number now. We've been doing it for a while now. And today with me I have Prozac, BrTarolg and BrTarolg because it's the hardest name to pronounce. How is it pronounced, man?
BrTarolg.
BrTarolg, okay.
AKA Tarlog.
Tarolog, yeah.
Tarolg.
I actually, for the first month or two, I thought it's Tarolog, so...
Yeah,
Well, because it's like
just
the
BR
battle.
for short, right?
You cash out the pass thing, right? Like,
So most of you probably know me and BrTarolg because we have been here, so that's why I'm assuming so. And for those of you who don't know Prozac and BrTarolg, then could you please introduce yourselves for a bit?
Sure. I'm Prozac. I stream pretty regularly. Top 10 player. I'm on test server right now, and yeah, just really chill.
oh, hi, I'm BrTarolg. I'm from the UK, like Blinky, so that's pretty cool. I'm Chinese, I guess, in case, yeah. And I play Scrolls, and I'm in the Badger Guild with BrTarolg, and BrTarolg is my best buddy in Scrolls, so that's how I know these guys.
Ni hao. Alright, so I said to guys earlier that we have really focused podcast last time, so why not make it a bit more personal? Why not ask around how everybody has been doing over the past week or so? If there's anything new, interesting, not Scrolls related, or even Scrolls related, whatever you want to talk about. So, go ahead.
Right. I guess I can start because I actually did something today.
Oh,
I went
yeah.
to see Pacific Rim.
And was it good?
Yeah, it was really good. It had huge robots fighting monsters. So yeah, it was good.
That's pretty cool, man. I should actually go see that soon.
Is that the one where GLaDOS stars is like,
Yeah, yes.
really? And she's like, are you still there? Wait, I've got one of those things, wait, check it out. Okay, yeah, it's one of these things, right? It's like,
Wow!
Oh, you just have a GLaDOS? Alright. Oh, yeah, that one.
and the light turns on like this, like,
That's pretty cool.
Preparing to dispense product. Target acquired.
I want it
yes.
so bad. I want it so bad.
Oh, man.
so
I'm a bit
yeah,
jelly.
Really
that's
nice.
gonna stay at my desk. That's pretty cool.
Anything else out there in there?
Mostly playing Scrolls, to be honest.
Yeah. Prozac.
It's pretty much it for me, man. I've just been playing a whole lot, trying to get my stream regular time now, and just looking for work. Really about it.
Cool.
Okay.
I spend a lot of time watching Scrolls from work and then getting home and thinking about all the things I'm gonna do and playing lots of Scrolls with BrTarolg.
I think we all have the same lives.
I'm
Yeah,
not sure
pretty
you
much.
actually do work.
Yeah, I go to work and I spend the
Watch
time on
scroll streams,
IRC and Reddit and theory crafting, and sometimes I play, and yeah.
I want both of your guys' jobs. Goddamn.
It's actually hurting my job. Like, I need to improve it because I could lose it if I don't.
Oh, intervention time then.
Yeah, it's getting worse, and especially now with the test server. I was supposed to go to work today, and I was like, I can go there on Sunday and just play a bit more, so I have more to say on the podcast. So let's
Wow.
do it.
Scrolls is gonna start bringing in the money soon, though, right?
Oh yeah,
Right?
definitely. I'm going to be a millionaire, right? Like all the.
If I'm not a millionaire in like 2 weeks, I'm out.
Yeah, man.
Like
That pro scene is so strong.
Scrolls pro scene.
cannot.
That'll be
spoil
kind of
anything.
interesting.
Yeah.
I can't wait
Cannot
for like
spoil anything.
draft. Draft is like what I'm actually good at. I'm not actually that good at.
Oh, that's a very good
That's why I'm
idea.
terrible at
though.
draft.
Next time I'm going to do a tournament, it might be in something else than just a complete meta, like the complete leather style games. It's a good idea.
A draft
Like,
probably
Also,
would-
I know that BrTarolg is terrible at draft because I watched him draft and I was like, no, what are you doing? Oh my
Oh
days!
man,
Like,
I'm the best
oh,
drafter. I just get
and-
bad luck.
and then he does that thing where he's like, oh, I'm going to take like this 5-drop, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna take a 5-drop and
Yeah,
draft.
it's like- I'm kind of good at playing this game, but when it comes to the actual deck building and stuff,
And then he did that thing where he tried to take Knight Scholar, and I was like, why would you take Knight Scholar?
Dude,
You're
Knight
not
Scholar is
good
like the
enough.
best card.
Yeah, it's the best card next to the
Like,
Yeah,
card.
But then he was like trying to take energy cards at the same time, and I was like,
Dude, that's
oh,
not
I'm
the
just gonna build like an energy order deck, and he had like 4 colors, and he ended up taking 4 energy cards in an
Oh,
80
sure,
card
yeah.
draft, where basically you have to play 50 of them. So he already gave himself 5 dead cards, and
Okay, the
You
way you
don't
do
understand.
it is you just take all the rares you get and all the uncommons, and you
Yeah,
just
take
try
all
and
the-
work with that after.
But like, Carl, you have to understand the pro play, man. You take the scholar, and it draws you into all your VDs or your burns. It's so
Yeah.
good. So pro.
Yeah, there's like next level strategy behind it.
Yeah.
Artrox is actually best player out there.
but
Yeah,
he
that's
had
why
the
I
choice
like
between
Oscar
like
too.
Scholar and like Sister of the Fox.
That's not a choice. You take scholar.
Yeah, then you take Scholar.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What the
definitely.
hell?
Like an easy one.
Like
Learn to
it,
play.
Like,
It depends what round it is. It's like if it's 8th round and you just don't have any order, then you still pick it because you can hate pick it and nobody else can.
And he didn't take any of the memorials either.
Oh, memorials are pretty important.
yeah.
I don't know. Memorials are for wimps. I just put into my energy normally, or resources, whatever.
They help. They definitely help.
Yeah.
Whoa, Ice Cream, you cut your hair.
Oh, really? Yeah, I did.
I only just noticed that when the chat told me.
Oh, Chet is
Wow.
talking about it now.
You've
Yeah.
got like a really...
Yes! Good looking said exactly what I said. Fuck yeah.
He became French. No, he just repeated what you said. He did not create it. He's just repeating you.
Oh man, I'm a trendsetter.
Okay, so do I have to go skinhead now? So I'm a bit more Czech?
Oh, dude, you should.
Yeah, I'm not going to do it.
Oh wait, I can change my hairstyle on the fly. Wait, let me get one of these.
You
Dude,
have
I can change my
special
hairstyle
powers.
too. I can put this little piece down or up.
Ooh.
Wait a
Like
sec,
most
let me
legit.
go off screen.
I can actually like change it a lot. See? Now I have completely different hair and it sucks. So,
GG.
Yeah. It will get me time to get used to it. Alright, so that's the casual talk for now. I guess
Sure.
we should jump into
Yes,
something
get to-
productive.
Oh man, something I can actually talk about. Scroll down.
Yay! So I'll change the screen onto our new scrolls, and we'll go over them. I actually didn't tell you to open it up yourselves, but I'm
Oh.
going through the topic that Blinky posted with the new scrolls on Scrolls Guide.
Right, maybe someone can link it in the chat or something.
Sick. I get to be super Mr. Negative.
I can, yeah, you will be the negative guy. Fuck!
Because I hate like 90% of these scrolls that came out. Most of them are just awful.
Okay, I disagree. That will
There's
be
a lot of-
interesting.
Just a lot of like useless things.
So
here, I
let's
guess.
start with the one where I'll actually agree with you, Corrode. Opinions, guys.
If it was like 3 turns, it'd be playable. I don't know.
Do you think it will be playable if it was
Well,
It'd be like more playable.
I'm not gonna play it, but I'm sure someone else will find a way of playing it.
I think not now. I think it
You're
will
like-
be playable, but not now.
Like I don't know. Like if you made it so that it lasts for 2 of your turns and it only worked for like it only doubled your opponents, then I don't know. Maybe you could play like a trick deck with like cannon automatons instead of like concentrate fire or something.
I'd
Something like that I
I
could
just,
see.
I just
I
feel
mean-
like 90% of the time I'd just play Concentrate Fire instead, and Concentrate Fire isn't even
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
good.
I'm pretty sure this card is not supposed to be used in the energy decks you guys are thinking about, so...
Yeah, I'm
Like-
sure it should be
That's
in different
Like,
decks.
it's so
But I
the
don't
deck
think-
that it's going to be used in does not yet exist.
Yeah.
It's far away.
This is the thing, it does not just exist, and I think half of, well, not half maybe, but a lot of those cards that will be in the deck are not existent yet.
One thing I will say for it though is it's interesting that they're releasing cards like this for energy. It's really showing the playstyle that Mojang kind of wants to direct them towards. Like they're releasing a lot of damage idling stuff for energy.
Yeah, Metal Wonder's cool.
Well, you
I
have
don't think it's that
Experience.
good, but I think it's really cool, and I think it should stay exactly the way it is.
Yes, I agree, and we'll not get into the discussion because it will be just me and Prozac and discussing it over and over and over again.
Oh right, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
then-
I'm not going to touch that with the 10-foot pole right now.
Yeah, we have done it way too many times already.
Yeah.
So let's move on to fleetness actually. It's an enchantment.
Which now costs 3.
Yeah,
which
now costs 3.
and units base countdown is reduced by 1 for 3.
I tried
So-
playing it, it's not good enough.
Yeah, it's like
So-
first when you first it's like this is gonna be really good. I'm gonna play it on my Scholar and I'm gonna play it on my Skirmisher, and so, but then when you actually play it,
Yeah, the thing with it is now that it costs 3, that's even worse, but it doesn't actually lower the cooldown, even though its base cooldown gets lowered. Like if it lowered the cooldown upon and lowered the base, it'd be a lot better. And the fact they increased its price, it's just not really playable now.
It would just be better Blessing of Haste, which I don't think.
Well, it'd be comparable to
needs-
Speed.
From a card advantage point of view, if you're thinking of it that way, basically, if you say are running a Joe's deck and it only costs 2, you're playing another creature, right? Because most creatures have cooldowns of 2. You're just playing a copy of that creature, except instead of being 2 creatures, it's 1 creature which attacks twice.
So
Yeah,
all your eggs are in one basket.
So
Yes.
it's ironic because it works best in the Joe's deck, yet at the same time, you're never going to get more than 2 order worth of power from a Joe's deck playing a creature, in which case you'd much rather play another creature. The point of Fleetness is supposed to be that you play it on a 5 or 6 cost creature, therefore making a copy of that 5 or 6 cost creature for 2 order, but you're never going to do that, so...
Well, I mean, if it costs 2, I'd play with Night Scholar all day. Draw scroll every turn. After 2 turns, it'd pay for itself.
Well, the problem is that's firstly,
then you
2
need-
turns to pay for itself is a long time
Yes.
in scrolls.
Night
Secondly,
Scholar is 6 HP.
there's just not enough space for it in the deck. Like, there's so
Yeah.
many other good cards you could play. Like, it's not like the kind of card which your opponent is going to freak out about next turn, because you can't genuinely play it on a general. So you can only play it really on your Vanguard, your Scholar. Those are the 2 cards that you kind of want to play it on.
Skirmisher, maybe.
Skirmisher is okay as well, I guess. But
Yeah.
it's not
But
groundbreaking.
then think about, you could play a Fleetness for 3, or you could play another Skirmisher.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you don't.
It's like...
That's like, yeah, so you'll never take out that unit basically for this. That's...
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's more complicated than just copying the scroll, because you get the board position from it that the one has, and sometimes you want it to be concentrated in that place. And
Yeah.
But you also get, like, when one of them dies, both die.
Yeah, like,
Yeah,
it's
that's
just putting almost.
that's
Go ahead,
the
sorry.
negative. But also you can think of it of like Eye of an Eagle somehow. Like you didn't draw into the creature, but you need it. Like I'm not too sure, right? But I think it will be played.
I mean, I won't be
I don't
playing
know.
it. I tried it in
Yeah, I
about
tried it.
4 to 5 games. Basically, I sacrificed it for 3 of them, and 2 games where I did play it. It just... The unit got killed because all 4 colors have good ways of killing units. And I think it got activated once in the case where I could have just played another creature, and that had the creatures alternate their attacks. So
Yeah, like its fundamental issue
Experience
is
hasn't
that.
been good yet.
Okay. Yeah, like its fundamental issue is just that it doesn't give you an immediate effect. So you're giving your opponent tons of time to respond to it. It's not like a Blessing of Haste where it's like on that turn it's going to make a difference. You're putting it on, and then the next turn it might make a difference.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yes, it's,
oh,
yeah, a Blessing of Haste next turn.
yeah.
And the turn after that, but you can't really think that long term.
Well,
Or you can, but I mean,
It's
you can't rely on it working
okay.
long term.
Yeah.
You can only rely on it working short term, and this
I-
doesn't give you anything short term.
I also
At all.
think that this card might be even more useful later on, because it's not only creatures but it's also units. That means
Oh, it is.
structures, and if it's structures, then there could be some usable order cards in the future, structures that have like 2 countdown, or there could be a multicolor deck at some point when we actually learn how to make it work, or if it's possible to make it work.
Yeah, I guess with
Fortunately.
structures it's okay.
fortunately for us, most of the cooldown reduction cards work on structures too, so...
Yes, sir. I mean, having this on a forge, I would just kill for it. Would be awesome.
2
Like-
cooldown forge.
Like the only time I could see it being useful is if they release a card that has like an ability like untouchable, so it can't be like targeted by like opponent spells or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Like
Untouchable would be really interesting.
I actually want that. I suggested that for the scrolls.
But
guy,
it would make like some really weird... It would flip the game the whole way around. Like, imagine
it'd be a super champ deck.
I wouldn't play
it had
Vigi.
to be like they
like,
had to
you
add
could
it in
start
the
just playing
content.
enchantments in it, right? Like, that's basically what you're gonna do. You're just gonna spam enchantments in it.
Wait,
like,
you
Oh
guys
shit,
see
enchantments
that
could be
kind of unit.
playable.
and then like there'll be like this win condition where you actually have to kill this creature using units as opposed to like playing a removal
Oh, I'd
spell.
hate that. I guess you can Blessing of Haste it.
Energy
Yeah,
was
Like
a big problem.
imagine just a unit which was like four cost for a 1/1 untouchable. Like
Yeah.
untouchable meaning that it can't be hurt or damaged by opponent's spells.
Really
Well,
opponents.
no,
so-
like-
okay.
You can't make it not available to AOE because that just makes it too strong. Like not being
Well,
able to
that's
be
why it costs
targeted.
4 for a
is so good.
1/1.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then you throw a stat card
would be
on
kind
it.
of- that would be really
Yeah, then
fun.
you throw a
Something
stack
that like
card.
makes enchantments good. It's
Like,
cool.
Yeah,
or
I
okay,
guess.
how expensive does it have to be like for untouchable to be a mechanic
I think
where it
4
can't-
is fine. You're still putting a lot of like.
I think it should cost one
effort
of
into
every
buffing
color.
that one.
One of every color.
Multicolor will be interesting. I'm waiting for them to release that still.
Yeah,
I think
some
they're
sort
going
of
to do it though, but didn't they say that they didn't want to do the magic thing of going multicolor?
I don't know.
Like, you mean multicolor costs for the cards or something else?
I don't see why they wouldn't. I mean, multicoloring makes it really interesting because it like you can put their power level higher than like a cost of a 2 order card if the card costs like 1 order and 1 growth. You can make its power level like a 3 cost card, which would promote more split decks. So I don't know.
Well, I mean, it could be interesting, but I think I think the devs just said that they're not going to do it. So, but who knows? I mean,
Yes.
or maybe color.
Or
They said
young-
they were going to do colorless cards or something like that.
Oh man, we're getting to my next favorite card.
Or
Yeah, maybe we should keep talking about the scrolls and the.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, I actually would have moved the topic, but I had a visit, so I had to deal
Oh.
with it publicly. Move on to Red King, who is now
Yes.
4 cost. It summons
Yeah.
a beast red on target tile and 2 edges on the random tiles. So
It's
my
good.
initial reaction was, okay, red decks might be a bit more viable. Okay, it will be fun. It will be fun. Suddenly I saw it in Mono Growth, and fuck, it's strong, even against energy.
Yeah. Go ahead.
It's 3 units for 1 card, I guess. So
Like
gonna
the
be-
God Hand synergy is so good. The Crimson Bowl synergy is so good. The Fertile Soil synergy. It
Ancestral
just matches
Totem.
so well. Like
3 units for 1 card is pretty good.
B strats suck. 3 B strats for 1 card is good.
Yeah.
I don't know. I really like the card. I underestimated
Wait,
it. And
there
then
is
I
one
got
thing I
back.
would say about this card that really pissed me off. So
okay.
what happened was originally this card cost 4, right?
No, 3.
And then the devs were playing it, and then they decided it wasn't kind of wasn't good enough. So then they made it 3, right? And then they released it on the test server, and this was around the time when all the new guys got the test server. Oh, you can see my change tab. So all the new guys got on the test server, and within 2 hours of the new cards having come out, a bunch of people complained that Rat King was too good, and then they reversed the change and nerfed it to 4. I really don't like that because
It was really quick.
I don't remember anyone who was complaining about it. Everyone I talked to, everyone I saw type in said, why did you change it so quickly? Like, I don't remember anyone who would get angry over it, and I don't think it was people getting over it. I think it was just Mojang releasing it really quick and then just from their initial testing, oh yeah, we should actually make it 4 cost.
Yeah. I mean, I would say one thing to the community in general is like, just don't make preconceived judgments about cards, especially in the first day that they come out, because there are so many things about Decay when I played them in the first day that I had so many first opinions that changed the next day, that changed the next day, that changed.
Really?
It took about like a week to settle in. Like,
Yeah.
That's interesting. For me, I made all my judgments on the first day, and short of like 2 cards, they're all still the same.
Okay, so what Blink is saying in chat, they saw it on stream and thought it looked too good, so they changed it.
Oh.
Fleetly.
But again, it's like
people complain
there's so many
about-
things to consider. So just in general, like
now
Have an open
we
mind.
feel
That's
fleeting
like-
isn't that good, right? But people on stream complained about fleeting, and that's why they changed it from 2 to
Well,
3. And we're
Fleeting
like,
at 2 is too good, but fleeting at 3 is bad. It's
but I
just
don't
really
think fleeting
Why
at
is
2
it
is
too-
too good.
why is it
Well,
too
you
good?
don't know, right? Like,
Night
you
Scholar,
have
that's
to
the only
test it.
reason.
but no one got to test that on Night Scholar. It probably.
Well, I mean, go ahead, sorry. Didn't mean to cut you off.
So yeah,
You have to test these things, right? Like when I played Decay for like for the first time, and I like made these random mono decay decks against Artrox, and he didn't know what to do against it, and I crushed him like 7 games in a row. And then I think it was something like that. Like I crushed you really badly with decay, and we were like, "Damn, decay seems really good." And then the next day, Artrox kind of learned how to play against decay, and then totally crushed me. Like
Yeah, you just
like
play order.
without even trying. Yeah, playing order, right?
That's all you do.
And then he absolutely crushed me, and then I was like, wow, decay just sucks. And then the next day, then I made tricolor decay,
Ew.
and then we played that for like a whole day, and we got like 50-50, and we were like, we're not so sure now. And then we played it another day, and we got 50-50 again. We're like, maybe this deck is like balanced, and we're not sure. And then I think ever since then we've had like a roughly 50-50 on that, so that's kind of like the balance range, as it were.
So it's the deck that 50-50 is me, at least. That's what we can conclude, I guess.
Yeah, but that's kind of all we conclude. We can't conclude that it's like overpowered, or it's going to come number 1 in ranked, it's going to destroy the metagame, or anything like that. Like,
Why can't you conclude that? I can make some of those assumptions. I mean, you just play what the meta is, and then you see how it pairs up. Like, order
Well,
still beats decay like 60-40, but it crushes growth.
the problem is that whilst probably your logical induction is pretty strong, and it's generally your assumptions and indications are going to be correct a lot of the time, it's very, very prevalent in TCGs and multiplayer gaming in general that when new stuff comes out, people are going to complain about it. Good players, really, especially the top players, are going to have very, very strong first opinions about it, because that's what makes them top players. They're really, really good at analyzing things really quickly. And then that's fine, but for then the developers to have to be, in some way, forced to have to take that on and change things straight away is bad for the game. It's bad for the game that developers are making changes to scrolls just a few hours after the scrolls came out.
But it's beta.
Like, it needs to sit for like, those scrolls need to sit for at least 3 to 4 days. Like,
I
Okay.
definitely disagree.
I think
go
that devs tested the scrolls themselves a bit. So now that the changes have been made, do you think Red King was a bad change, that he was actually put up to 4 in price?
I just
No,
think it's completely arbitrary. Like,
who knows?
I'm still gonna
Like,
play it.
3 to 4 might
Yeah.
be really good. It might have been really needed. I'm not sure.
Like, we don't know whether 3 was too good or not, because I didn't get to play it with 3 too
Well, I
much.
know 4 is still really good, so if it was
Well,
3, then it would be even
yeah.
more stupid.
Exactly. Like, I mean, an easy way to judge that is it auto-include at 4?
Yes.
Pretty much. So would it be amazingly auto-include at 3? Yes. It's all, like, I'm already going to play probably 3
But
copies at 4.
here's the funny thing, right? Like, what if, just saying, what if in like 3 weeks time, let's just pretend this set stays as it is. I have seen stuff in games like this before where we all think it's also included at 4, and in 3 weeks time, no one plays it anymore.
Like what? I'm actually curious.
And that, you could take this
Like, just think
example, I
about,
guess.
like, when
think about
early-
Skinfolk Veteran, right? If that costs 6, you'd probably still play it, right?
Yeah, but that's because Kinfolk Veteran is arguably the best card in the game right
Yeah,
now.
so should we increase it to 6?
I'd be okay with that.
would
I think it could definitely be okay with being balanced.
I think so. Really?
Yeah, I mean it's
Scrolls,
pretty much
scrolls are
guaranteed
more
the
than
best card in the
just
game.
like scrolls are more than the sum of their parts. So you can't
But-
just like change Kinfolk Veteran to 6. Like,
Yeah,
Why?
like there will be no changes to Veteran, I'm pretty
It's like
sure.
you could do it, people would still play it, but would it make the game better?
I wouldn't necessarily say it'd make the game better, but I mean Veteran is a card that works 100% by itself.
here's the thing. The point of scrolls is that scrolls are greater than the sum of their parts, right? They're not just individual entities that like this card is really, really strong, because Kinfolk Brave is really, really strong, God Hand is really, really strong, Quake is really, really strong, like Imperial Resources, dear lord, that is really, really strong. But the point is the game as a whole, not even just the interaction within its own color, which is what we see the most of, but interaction within the game is like, how does it affect the whole meta? How does the rankings appear in that way? You know, pretend that like Order didn't exist, then maybe Tempo Energy would actually be like a tier 1 deck, because it can perform decently sort of against growth, maybe with the new cards. Like it, and then there'll be some cards in growth which may not be played because energy becomes a tier 1 deck, and then there's so many things. It takes weeks for meta to settle. If you think about like early beta, when people first started playing ranked and like taking it seriously, the amount that decks changed was insane, right? You had guys in the top 10 playing order, energy, and growth. The way that and style that people played it were totally different, right? People played order as a tempo deck. People ran 2 copies of Imperial Resources. They thought Mangonel was a trick.
Yep.
They thought Scholar was bad, and they thought that, and you know, obviously when you think Scholar is bad, you think, what the hell? How can you think Scholar is bad?
Yeah, I
Bear in
basically
mind-
did all those things.
Bear
It
in
was
mind,
nice or that, so.
like when back then, when people played Order, people played Decimation in their deck, right? And the idea was to play a drop on turn 1, then a drop on turn 2, 3, 4, and 5, and then start flipping, pothering, Blessing of Hasting, and you're speeding your way to victory, which is kind of a deck that I built against Artrox like a couple days ago, yesterday, right? And
Okay.
this is deck that we flipped back to, and was a deck that existed like way early in beta because people just didn't play late game Order back then. So
Alright, so
Okay.
I'll actually try to say something else. Well, this is all true. If you're saying it has to sit down for, let's say, you said 3 weeks, what if in 3 weeks things happen? Like, I don't think we can hold on to cards on test server for 3 weeks and test it all ourselves, so we have to kind of suggest where we think after, I would say, week is a good enough number to say what it should be done to it, maybe 3 days for the first change, and maybe then later on. But we cannot test it as a whole and predict the whole meta and say, okay, this will make the game great.
Well,
Yeah,
I
that's the
mean-
thing. We're like a closed system, so if we throw it into...
I'm almost certain the top 10 after that, like when it goes into live, is going to like totally change, and they're going to be full of new players who we've never heard of before.
Definitely not. Good players are still good players. The only way that'll change is because a lot of the top 10 players aren't playing. But so long as those players keep playing, they're just going to switch to the best thing. You might see 1 or 2, but you're not going to see a massive shift.
Okay, there are a lot of new players that did not play when the top of the ladder was really active back then, and
Yeah.
right now getting to top 10 is just impossible. Because people don't play the high ratings, and most of those guys aren't active right now. But when they come back, all of those people who are maybe new right now and got a lot better and understood the game a lot more could actually go to the top 10, and like we could find completely new guys there.
Yeah, of course. I'm not saying there's not going to be changes. I'm just saying it's not going to do like a massive shift. Good players are still going to be good players. Like, the top 50 is still going to consist of mostly the same people. That's the thing. Top 10 even more so, because all you do is just switch to the best deck. So if Order is still the best deck, obviously you're still going to play that. If it's Decay, then you're going to play that.
But you don't think it will like take time for everyone to decide on the best deck?
Not really. I mean, you're only adding in Decay, so all you have to do is test the interactions between that. Beforehand, you had to test the interactions of like Order with Order, Order with Energy, Order with Growth, etc., etc. Now you're just testing Decay with those.
I think the new scrolls that are on the server right now, I don't know how many of those will go to live together with Decay, but I think a lot of those that we have right now in the server could possibly change something. Like, I listened to a video that months that I've recommended where a magic guy talked about RNG, which is like interesting, but other thing he said is there are two types of people. One of them, well, more types, but 2 main types when it comes to CCGs. One of them innovate decks, like they come up with crazy ideas and they do not necessarily make it perfect, but they come up with good ideas. And then then the good people come and they actually make the deck good and make it really, really work to the top tier level. So those innovative people that not most of them, but some of them might not be in necessarily top 100, top 200, might come up with ideas that will actually shift the meta like week, maybe 2 weeks after the Decay hits live. I actually think that like the meta will not go stale after a week. I think it will take 2 weeks to a month to have this same situation, maybe even more.
Like, I mean,
Because
just saying, if in the current meta, right now it's pretty settled, like on live server. And how long did it take to get there? It took a while. Like it really did. It wasn't all of a sudden like, okay, here's the really good players, and they basically solved it in 4 days. Like it took a while for it to get to that point. So, you know.
So it's like, yeah.
Why would it only take like a few days again to decide what's going to work?
Again, because it's one deck, like it's one faction's interaction compared to 3.
Oh, but I mean, just one faction. It's also like whatever amount of cards.
And
I don't know.
it's, Like, I think it would take a while. Like, one faction, you don't just test order against decay and order growth versus decay and energy versus decay, because the growth, energy, and order decks will actually change to that, and that will change the whole energy, growth, energy, order.
I mean, a bit, but like, I don't know. I guess I don't really want to explain my full viewpoint on here, I guess, because it's a bit different. I'll just agree with you guys for now.
Yeah,
it's
it's
fine.
fine. We
I would say one thing. If you look at Blinky in the chat, like he's talking about stuff that used to exist in scrolls that would totally change the meta, as it were. Like back then, he said decks used in alpha used to consist of 40 scrolls instead of 50,
Well,
and the best decks in alpha were tempo decks, where you play a drop in turn 1, 2, 3, and 4. There was like Gravelock Surge or something, which was basically just only ran Gravelocks as creatures and had Thunder Surge. And this was like a really, really strong energy deck. But then when they changed it to 50 cards, like everything changed, and the game really shifted straight, you know, to deep late order and late game kinds of styles of play. Even in growth, you know, you're still basically getting an early game to play a good late game. And this is the kind of thing that you just wouldn't expect, right? Like adding 10 cards different to a deck wouldn't. You think, why would that change the composition of the entire meta? Okay, there were fewer players back then, there were fewer top level players, but what would happen if we changed to 40 scrolls now? Like, everything would just, you know, you'd think that, okay, so we're just going to make the current decks that we've got and cut off some of the fat from the current scrolls and make it more lean, but that's like the initial reaction you'd have, but actually what would happen is everything would change. Like, you'd have these decks which are possible, which just weren't possible before.
Oh, yeah, of course. That's just, I don't know, to me that's just like common sense. If something big changes like that, everything changes, but my point is that it doesn't take weeks to get used to that change. I mean, for lower tier players it might, but I can guarantee you for most top 10, top 20, top 50, it won't take more than a day or two to get used to the new meta. They're going to find what's good, and that's going to become the meta. Now, if it shifts a little bit past that, again, they're going to adapt quickly.
Well,
that's kind of what I was saying.
It's an interesting point. It's going to be really cool to see.
yeah, like with what you
That's
say
for
right
sure.
now, I agree. Like, if it shifts after it, then they will adjust. Right, they will have their own meta, but we will not have the meta that will be for next month after like, we will not have the meta that will be for next month within 2 days. We will have meta that will be good, and then it will shift a bit more, and then it will shift a bit more. Maybe in little changes, but it will kind of be shifting. Like right now, on live server there is no shifting. So
I think it'll take probably like a month or two to settle. That's my guess. If nothing changes.
Let's get back to cards, because
That'd be
Yeah,
a good
sure.
idea.
it's
We're just going to go around in circles.
Yeah, exactly.
Sorry for dragging it along, guys. I'm
It's
just
alright. It's alright. So redeploy.
It is not that good.
Who likes it?
I'll just
I think it's really boring and just bad.
Yeah, it costs too much, and it's really boring, yeah.
It's a 5-mana new orders, right? So
Yeah, pretty much. Like in 90% of the cases, I think, or maybe not 90% of, but in many cases, it will be like indistinguishable from just playing new orders and moving your units
would
around.
anyone play redeploy if it costs 1?
Hell yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I would play that all day.
I'd consider it as a switch it out for maybe transposition.
Transposition,
or,
yeah.
Well, I mean, if you're playing new orders, if
New orders.
redeploy was 1, it would just be a better
Oh
new
yeah,
orders.
yeah, of course.
So of course I'd play it.
Difference
There's
between
stuff that new orders can do that redeploy can't, but
Yeah, I guess.
Very
There's a
little,
few
though.
Stuff. But I think
redeploy-
like you could achieve pretty much the same things and more.
is there stuff that redeploy can do that new orders can't? I
Yeah,
guess
move the
You can
entire
move
way across the map.
longer.
structures across map and switch 2 lines.
I can move from the far right side to the far left side. New orders can't do that.
You
You
mean
can move
top to bottom?
animals whatever you want.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah,
I don't know. It's
But
still
the
a really
changes to
boring.
this card though to make it interesting, I think it should either like draw you a scroll
No.
or like add 2 attack to all your units.
Please, no more draw a scroll in order.
I want
Yeah.
more cantrips.
Order doesn't need more cycle. It's already too good for its
Yeah.
cycling.
You have
Order
like,
doesn't need more cycle, but we know what our trucks wants.
It's
The
like
damage I could see, that'd be interesting, I guess. I wouldn't be against that.
I could like see myself maybe considering playing this instead of transposition if it drew me a scroll. It's like an interesting choice to make at least. Like either I play this really cheap scroll that lets me move 1 unit, or I play this really expensive scroll that lets me move all my units, but they both like cost 0 scrolls.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I'd take transposition over it any time because,
Yeah,
you know,
maybe.
cycling.
But it's still an
yeah, if
interesting
it cycles,
like-
it would be Blade. Just
Yeah,
because.
but yeah, that was my point. If it drew you a scroll, of course, that would be an interesting decision.
it
Right
would
now,
be,
I think
like-
it's just not.
Order just cannot have any more cycle cards.
Yeah, it has too much draw.
It has too much. Like, you can get to speeds so quickly, even after using them. It's
Like, if you're including resources, it's like 12 draw scrolls, I think.
Yeah, it's stupid.
Yeah, but draws.
Yeah. Interestingly enough, I don't even run transposition in my current order deck.
I actually don't either, so
Well, I'm like the only one. I just really like it.
it's.
I run 2 podders now.
What the?
Whoa, it's the best scroll in the game, man.
Yeah, well, I don't know about that, but
No,
it's
it's not
like,
bad.
It's more like it is the best scroll in the game, but it's not a scroll that you keep in
not
your
a bad
hand if you draw it on
Yeah.
turn 1, right?
Yeah.
Yep,
So, as I see it, it's if you change it to 2 scrolls, it turns into a scroll that you have to keep in your hand, but then you're not going to be sacking it as much.
I don't know.
Pother
I
should
can't
be
agree with not
2
playing 3. Like, you need to play 3 Pother. It's Pother.
It's both.
Well, this is on the
This
test
is
server though, so like,
So-
Even in test server, it does all of the things. Like, it's good against decay.
It's
you just
great
move their-
against decay.
oh,
Like,
there's
you
a
move
test
their
server
Oblivion
update.
seekers and stuff.
Really?
there was a
Yeah,
restart
I'm
today,
just-
but I think it was only like small
Is
bugs
it?
and
Oh,
stuff.
I'm downloading it now, so I'll find out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see what else the chat has talked about. Oh, Prozac, you're an order player, right?
Yeah.
Do you think order's the best?
Yes. Easily.
Really?
I agree.
Why I play it.
That's
And
interesting.
I
Slid
thought
thinks
Ghost
that like
Rider-
growth rapes order.
I know he does. I've been talking with him. As we're talking on here, I've been typing in chat. Because I didn't want to
which
get
one
into
are
an
you?
argument on
Prozac?
stream.
Okay, so
Okay.
you don't want to get it down. Let's not get it down.
Yeah, exactly. I'll just keep
And then
it.
Blinky thinks that order's the best. Wow, that's pretty cool.
Sister
Alright, well-
of the bear, guys. Sister of the bear.
And then,
Boo!
oh, Sister of the Bear.
Boo!
So
I tried playing it instead of
Ugly.
Meiji.
Ew,
No.
why?
No,
I know, because I tried it, right? It's testing.
I think
Yeah.
people would play it if there was no breaker and no red king.
See,
I'm
the thing
playing
is-
it.
Wow, that's awful.
I tried it. It's,
I mean-
it's actually 4 attack is actually good. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, 4 attack is cool.
Uh,
kills,
there
4
are,
attack kills a lot of things.
there are
kills
many cards
Duke's-
that cost 4 that have 4 attack, by the way.
It kills
Yeah.
it kills
ahead.
and survives Dukel's Spearman. If you play turn 4 and your opponent plays turn 5 veteran, it survives him and then kills him. And the synergy with God Hand, Crimson Bull, or just really without Crimson Bull, is still pretty good.
Another
Why
thing
does
is
the
like
magic
Mage
work?
Wolf is only good with Great Wolf. It's like if
Yeah.
you don't have a Great Wolf, Mage
But
Wolf is terrible.
You don't. If you don't have a Great Wolf though, what are you doing with your life? Like,
Well, so your whole deck is gonna rely on 1 card. It's like just
that's pretty much.
It's like energy. Like, well, if energy draws 3 Gravelock Elders, then they can beat both growth and order.
Yep.
So,
But it's like just to consider like maybe if you play Sister of the Bear instead of Mage Wolf, your deck is less reliant on Great Wolf, but it's more solid. Maybe. This is why we need to test, right?
Yeah, but at the same time, my issue with it is I would not drop the Meiji Wolf because of how good Great Wolf is, and I wouldn't drop the Brother either. And then I don't want to play 12 4 costs.
Yeah,
Like, I
already
just
Red
can't
King.
fight for that spot.
If Red King was 5, maybe. If Red King was 5.
Yeah,
you want to make Rat King 5?
Oh, like even Rat King costs 4 though, so I mean, I'd find room for Rat King before I'd find room for Sister of the Bear.
Yeah, that's the point. Like, if
Yeah.
Red King wasn't 4, then maybe Sister would
I mean,
steal more
there is
play.
also the interaction of, like, the tempo deck style? Because right now, there's like multiple different ways of playing growth, and one of them is like the 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, okay, I won't say the 1 because they rarely play anything in 1, but like the 2, 3, 4, 5
Yeah, the
style.
curve.
Yeah, and then like Sister of the Bear fits way better in that, like the initial drop that Mangy Wolf does. Because you're never going to play a Mangy Wolf in turn 4.
Yeah, but again, the issue is
Would you play a
Wolf's just
Sister
so
of the
good.
Bear instead of a Rat King or a Brother in turn 4?
Yeah,
I think the choice here is
I
playing Jarl or Great Wolf. If you like don't want to play Mangy Wolf, then you don't play Great Wolf and you play Jarl.
No,
as
you
your
have to
other
play a
class.
Great Wolf. Even
Yeah,
if you
that's
play
the point.
Mangy
Like
Wolf.
that's why it's not good.
But see, then I'd ask the fundamental question: why would you play Jarl over Great Wolf?
Because it's relentless, and if you are not playing Great Wolf, then you are playing Jarl, and Great Wolf, like you want
No,
to
but that's
play.
the thing. Why would you not just play the Great Wolf?
Yeah, you would. That's the point. You would.
Yeah, like, I don't know.
Like if you are not having Great Wolf in your deck, you must have something else relentless. You cannot play without relentless, really.
It doesn't help that it's also a vanilla. Like, it's just a really boring card.
Mm.
Like, if it did something, maybe I'd find room for it. But as it stands, I would not play Sister of the Bear.
Oh, I'm trying it, so
it's interesting.
I replaced
it's
Mangy Wolf with it.
It's
so.
like Mangy Wolf isn't a 4-drop, but Sister of Bear is a 4-drop. So,
Yeah.
and by 4-drop, I mean like you play
Yeah.
it for.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying.
Just
I'm wondering if there's a way to play just all of the 4-drops, and like what would you take out then?
Wow.
That sounds
You run-
ugly.
Butter and Burial Ground.
I want to take out 4-drop from my drop
Well,
deck.
Yeah.
I mean, Burial Ground's already gone, man, because of
Yeah,
the other
Burial
cards we're
Ground's
going to be
gone.
talking about.
Okay.
I think you can move on to the next cards then, I
Yeah.
guess.
That's further down the way. Oh, man.
Stormrunner, our poor Stormrunner.
Stormrunner's
Oh.
cool.
Poor energy.
I don't know. Stormrunner's cool.
I like him a lot, but I want him to be 2-cost.
He's like... He's
Well,
not
it's a
good,
shame
but he's
that
cool.
energy doesn't have focus.
Yes.
Yeah.
And playing order
Desperation is cool, though.
splashes. Yeah. Like the only way to play Stormrunner and be really effective with him, to justify him having it in a deck, is to play him with Bombard and Desperation. And it is like so situational, and it's still 8 costs. It's like so much that I cannot justify him. If it was 2 cost, then maybe, but like he's not good enough on his own. If you just drop him, then the opponent plays around him, and it's not as hard to play around him and then kill him. And
Well-
even if you don't play around him, it's like one attack, and if you don't have him,
Yeah.
if you don't give him a good desperation, then he just does almost nothing. Like he like
Right,
tackles
right
some
now it's
units.
not too useful. But
To be
later
fair,
it might
though,
be
he
useful.
kills Vaders really well. He
Well,
does that.
A lot
Yeah.
of things kill Vader really well. In fact, things
Exactly.
are killing Vader so well right now, it kind of makes me want to not run Vader anymore.
Because Breaker exists, I don't know. It's actually worth playing it now.
Yeah. If you
What, to play Breaker on turn 2?
yes.
Yes. And then to play Brother on turn 3, and then to play Great Wolf
But
on
you're
turn
gonna
4,
play.
and then win
Are you
game.
gonna play Vader on turn 1?
Yes.
Potentially. I definitely will play it turn 2.
If you have turn 1 Vader and Breaker in your hand, then I would play the Vader.
I guess if you go first, or if you're against order, you can't do it if you go first because
Yes.
then
Or
you're
energy.
gonna get kabonked. Or energy, yeah, of
Exactly.
course.
The only one that's risky is Growth because of the Ragged Wolf for the
Indeed,
+1
yeah.
immediately.
Indeed.
Like Vader is a very risky card, and it becomes dead very quickly. Like it becomes a dead card quite quickly.
Yeah, but accelerating your turn by 1 wins you the game.
Let's not talk about Vader maybe and stick
Yeah,
with
sure.
the Stormrunner. I'm
Well,
just
sorry.
I was just
Sorry.
like I was
As
getting
y'all
into
can tell,
discussion.
we really like this game.
I was getting into discussion and then I realized, why do I have Stormrunner on stream? Oh yeah, we are
Yeah,
actually
sorry about
supposed to
that.
talk about him.
Yeah, sorry.
Well, his synergy with Blast Strike's pretty cool, I guess.
It is,
Like
but
scrolls.
it doesn't justify still playing the Blast Strike in my deck.
No.
Like
I
he,
tested him out. He's just, yeah.
he needs Blast Strike or Respiration,
It's like,
and if you have
This is-
neither, then
this is another one of those cards that maybe it's gonna be good later when there's more cards in the game.
maybe. But I
Yeah.
would still prefer having him 2-cost, really.
The issue, yeah, the issue isn't, like, fundamentally he's fine. The fact that he's a moving lobber is really cool. It's his cost versus his stats that just make him really subpar.
Yeah.
He needs a lot of support to do anything, and then you're just better off playing cards that don't need that much support at the moment.
Also, consider how many good 3-drops energy has already. It's like Scattergunner, Forge, Mortar, if you play Mortar, then what else do we have? We have something, definitely.
Yeah, I can't remember the other thing. There is something else, though. You have
like,
Outcast, I
we
guess.
have Bombard and Furies at 3 cost. Like, there's so many things we want to play around 3.
Yeah. I don't know. He's a cool. He might be good for a trick deck of some kind. I don't know.
Hmm.
He's
Yeah.
like he has potential.
Well, trick decks generally cost 2, so
Yeah. He will be
unless
good
it's like
in
a really
draft.
long trick deck.
I will like him in draft. Where I
I'm
will
looking forward to
actually-
like the deck that makes like Solemn Giant. Oh, that's the next card, right? Okay, I'll wait for that.
No, wait. So,
Oh man.
oh,
Go ahead.
okay, let's move on. Wing Soldier. Is this the next card you want to talk about?
All right. I guess I'll start off.
Yeah, sure.
It's good. I like it. It really comes down to it versus Dusal, but in the early game, it's going to do a lot more, and it really, like you just put it behind a spike unit, and it puts in work. Dusal is better for the late game for the one attack focus that's going to keep giving you the extra attack for your relentless guys. So it's just really a fundamental choice, but it tested really well for me.
Personally, I stopped running it because it's got 2 HP.
I am defending it because it's like you will not play it probably in your late game order deck, but the tempo deck that order used to run is now better. So
Yeah.
I guess-
I built the Tempo Order deck, and it's a lot of fun to play. And I think I've played it against Ultrox on streams a few times, and this is like a really good card to it. I lost a lot, but
yeah,
I don't
Yeah,
think that's a reflection on whether the deck is bad or not. Well, probably is.
I guess a
Not
good
that great a
question
deck,
is Ducal Infantryman better than this one? And
It's arguable.
I kind of like the idea of my skirmishers dealing 4 damage.
Yeah.
I also
And
like
3 health
having
is
3
also-
HP, yeah.
Yeah, so you don't
Kind of
die to like
benchmark.
everything.
Well,
4 HP is like the
But
nuts.
3 damage on that 2 drop though, that's really good as well. So it's a more fragile but more.
Yeah, like I said, it's going to come down to a choice that if you either want to do Sal for the extra synergy with your units, or if you just want an overall kind of better standalone unit.
Yeah, because I mean it's
Um,
still 5 damage if you buff it with your Vanguard, and that's
Really good. It's
Yeah.
a magic number.
At least I know I'm not going to run Waking Stones anymore. I kind of missed that card.
You ran it.
It was really cool when there was nothing else to put in that slot, but yeah, I ran Waking Stones for ages.
I think even if this card plays sees no play, fuck my English. If it sees no play, it's still nice to have it in the deck builder. Like it fills a spot that order didn't have filled. Like
Yeah,
the
it's a choice.
warmth of having more 2-drops than just a ducal guy. What's his name? No.
Also,
Dusal Infantryman.
Geo Joes.
because it's like
Or-
it used to be that in order you just played all the units, but now it's not that way anymore. You actually have to make a choice
Yeah.
between
Yeah,
a
like
couple of units.
it's like a perfect release. Like it's a card that's just it's not auto include, but it's not like you don't want to play it either. Like it's actually just something you can play. It's a really nice release.
I agree. Let's move on to Breaker.
Hooray.
I think every fucking growth
Oh,
player,
pew, pew,
when he
pew, pew, pew.
saw it, he just went.
Yeah, I have to admit, my first impression was
Screaming.
just this is.
OP, OP, OP.
Man, it's
Is it OP though?
I don't
It's
think
not
it's
OP.
OP.
It's just a solid card that Growth really wanted.
Yeah, but like it
It
doesn't
makes
even
Growth
need its
way
effect.
stronger, but it's not. It doesn't mean the card on its own is like overpowered.
No, like it's not OP the card itself, but it's OP what it does for the actual like color. Like they finally gave them a perfect curve. They can do a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 now. They could never do that before. Well, after Noati got nerfed anyway.
I mean, I don't think we wanted to like limit Growth to never having like a good 3-drop forever. So
Yeah.
it's gonna get some good 3-drops eventually.
I think
Yeah.
it's energy. I'm just so happy for it because it's a 3 health. It's a magical number for energy. Guard it. They will run instead of something that's maybe a less health. So yeah, please growth play this. I want to
Yeah,
burn him.
it might. You might play this in turn 3, and then Energy will play a card that begins with B, and
What do you mean?
ends
I'm gonna
with
fit on turn 2.
turn your unit
Yeah,
and
it's
draw a card.
The thing with this, I guess, is that like you might say it's OP because it can get really strong, but the turn you play it, it's just a 3/2/3. That's
Which
not
is still really
relentless.
good though.
yeah,
Like
it's
the
still
thing
pretty good.
is, like when I seen like just to go back a bit, like when I seen Sister the Bear, when I was discussing it with a couple of other people, right? What we all kind of came to the conclusion of is we would have loved it if it was a 3-2-3. Could have been a 3-2-3 vanilla, and we would have all played 3 of them. So that's pretty much what Breaker is, but it has an effect.
Wait, a 3/4/3 3 for
for 3.
3 growth.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Like, and that's just what Breaker is, but it just has an effect. Like, it's perfect. Such a nice card.
Yeah.
I guess the reason you'd play it though is that it's a 3-drop. That's like the
Yeah.
reason.
Oh, 100%.
I don't want to have to restrict growth to not having good 3-drops for
Yeah.
like, the rest of
It's
the
like,
scroll's existence.
should we then like never release a good 3-drop for growth?
The issue is Vader, though, because then you get the 3-drop on turn 2, which, if it's too good, is actually a really big issue.
Vader has a lot more counters now.
Yeah, but
so-
again, yeah, Vader is it too. Or
It doesn't
Like,
have a lot of
Vader's
turn
getting
1
more and
counters.
more counters.
oh
That's
yeah,
kind
but
of
that's
like
I guess.
It
Wing
doesn't have a lot of
soldiers.
turn 1 counters, that's the issue.
Mhm.
It's only turn
That's
1
good.
counters ragged, so if you do get a 3-drop that's worth playing Vader for, the counters to Vader don't matter, because you get it out before they can counter you.
It's like paying a scroll to play your turn 3-drop 1 turn earlier.
Exactly.
That's a good point.
So, next card
It's still
probably, I
a
don't know.
good trade-off. It's still a trade-off to make.
It's the last card, actually.
Oh, cool. What is it again?
Solemn Giants. No?
No, we have run over those like week ago.
Oh, really? Okay.
They are all
Well,
around.
I think Solemn Giants are really cool cards, so I'm going to put
Yes.
that out there.
I like Solemn Giant.
I think it's awesome. I think it's really cool.
I thought it was kind of bad in the beginning, and then I tested it, and it's pretty legit. I like it.
Yeah, the thing I would like to talk about now, like a general topic. I don't have
Yeah.
a specific topic that I would like to jump to, but I would like to talk about like the test server as a whole. Like, what do we think is changing right now? What will be different, and
Like,
meta-wise, like what is changing? Because I think there's a lot of things changing.
meta-wise, like, without, like, I'm gonna let you guys get into it a bit more, but pretty much, in my opinion, it's gonna be, Order is, with the new release cards, has a 60-40 matchup against Growth, it has a 60-40 matchup against Decay, and it crushes Energy. So I think it's still gonna be top dog. Decay beats Growth pretty hard as well, and Energy's still pretty irrelevant. So,
I agree that energy is still relevant. Growth versus Order, I don't know. Decay versus Order, well, I've already made a 50-50 deck against Order with Decay, so... but Decay kind of gets... Modded Decay gets crushed anyway, and as does Decay Order Splash.
well, I'm assuming you're playing, like, Nutrition. I'm assuming you're playing Nutrition Puppet. If you're not
Yeah,
playing
yeah.
that, then I don't
I'm
know.
basically playing that deck, which has like 19 non-Decay cards in it.
And it's really good. Like, the deck, I played against it with Energy, and it was so frustrating because, like, you are used to that, thinking that, like, you are trading cards and you are getting card advantage, but in the deck, it actually doesn't matter. Like, card
Yeah, I'm
advantage
just-
does not matter against the deck.
I'm sacking for scrolls on like 4 Decay and just playing every card I can, basically.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
And
Which
if
is...
your units die, you lose.
Which is...
yeah.
I think the
And when my
reason...
units die, you lose.
Which I think is the reason that Decay maybe should have few of the cards a bit more cost. So like Decay can stop second for Decay at 3 to 4 and just pause and stick for scrolls or maybe go into order or anything. And it still has the good scrolls that they rely
Yeah.
on a 3 and 4 cost. So
That doesn't change the fact that if you're saying that about Decay, what does that say about Order? Like,
Well, I mean, Order's the looming thing that's, like, a constant issue.
yeah.
I mean, like, you said you built a deck just to go 50-50 with, like, Order. Like, that's, like... I mean, that just kind of says it right there.
But I mean, is
Well-
it really a problem that a deck can stop at 4 and just play some units? Like,
No.
they can't haste their units. So even though they're really powerful, they're really predictable. And that's the thing with Decay.
that's why Order beats Mono Decay like 80-20. It's like Energy Crush, basically.
Well, I mean, Mono Decay is, like, really relevant, though. You're always going to want to splash for, like, the Pothers, and you're going to want to splash for the Nutrition. Like, they're just too good in that deck, and you get Order for free in that deck, because Tethered Recruit, I believe is what it's called.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. It's, like, really good. So good.
It's Memorial on steroids. He attacks, and wow, he's great.
And he's a human, which is great.
Yeah, he's a human. He gives synergies with everything.
What happened to that human card that Order was gonna get that like made all the cooldowns?
Oh, that thing's so bad.
Oh yeah, I think they
increased by
are
one when they
kind of
attack.
reworking that one because it's...
I don't know if they're
Bit
reworking.
weird.
Yeah, maybe they are working on it a bit more. And
I hope
did
they're
more.
reworking it. That just looked ugly. Like, I mean, I'd test it before any final judgment, but
I don't think it.
I really want to see some control decks in Scrolls. Like, there are no control decks in
There's
Scrolls.
too many cooldown resets.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of
it's
cooldown
like
resets.
interesting,
You kind of
okay.
get like once you get to high resources. I mean, there's so many mechanics which haven't been explored yet. Like resource manipulation is just like discarding cards. Dear lord, like imagine discarding
I
cards
actually
mechanic.
think Mojang said they don't want to do the discard card thing because they
Really?
don't think it's fun.
Wow.
And I kind of
And how
agree
do you-
with that. Like,
But how do you make like control decks without discarding cards?
I mean, discarding will
I know.
be so good. I
Or
want.
maybe like limiting like a card that like limits the size of your opponent's hand, or like something that like when this card is in play, like no person can play more than 5 cost in a turn. Or something. Just crazy stuff like that, right? Like there's so much stuff
one
to be
thing I think
explored.
is like a bit sad that we're not gonna get in this game is mill decks. Or and
Yeah.
for those who don't know,
Oh,
mill deck is
that's
like
the best.
you play cards that makes your opponent draw a lot of cards, but at some point they're gonna run out of cards, and then in some games you lose, in some games you just take magic
Oh.
damage and stuff. But in this game you just reshuffle your deck, so we're not gonna see that sadly.
Well, it's still all subject to change, right? Like there could still be. I don't think there will be, but there still could be changes to how the hand limit and deck cycling thing works, and so on. So, I mean, they said that they will experiment. They will maybe not put it into test server or live server, but they would experiment with damage and idols on deck reshuffle.
I kind of want that.
So that would be really good, and again, with energy, it would just help us with Metal Wonders so much.
Yeah.
I-
And again though,
sure.
when I say I kind of want that, I don't mean like I'm sure it's gonna be good for the game. It's just like I think it would be interesting.
There's a lot to be explored in terms of like mechanics and things that just haven't come out yet. Because even in most of the new scrolls, there aren't that many new mechanics, as it were. It's just sort of like adding to what we've already got, which is really cool. Like I think what we've already got is pretty strong, and like adding to more of that's cool. But we haven't seen anything that's like whoa, like untouchable would be like one of those things.
Yeah.
It would be the draw decks, I guess.
But we are getting introduced to more interesting mechanics, like as energy with the Forge and Giant. They are really interesting, and it
And then
will
they, like-
depend on what kind of follow-up it will have to it. If it has some kind of synergy with energy, where you can get more resources, maybe. I don't know.
But like even without that, like I really do commend them because they're using abilities that are already in the game, but they're reinventing them in different ways. Like the lobber that's on a creature is really cool, something we haven't seen before, and it's not really using any new mechanics. It's just reinventing an old one, which is really good.
Yeah, Energy's getting all the cool mechanics.
Yeah, we
It's-
are, and it's still
It's just not
enough.
that good.
Yeah, at
Yeah.
some point like energy is just gonna get that card.
Energy Master Race.
But I'm still hoping like the meta will maybe shift and people will not take energy into account and adjust their decks a little bit, and suddenly they will find out that they are actually weak against energy. I can't wait for the day. And
I
I'm
want to play
hoping-
Gravelog Surge.
How do you be weak to energy though? I mean,
Playing a lot of 3 cost units, 3 health and 2 health units would help.
Well, if they change like the deck number to 40, then Energy will like all of a sudden, well, maybe will become better, but like the minimum scrolls count to 40, all of a sudden Energy might become a lot stronger, but that's probably not going to happen. So
yeah.
Generally speaking, they don't reduce the
I think
deck
one
size,
more
I think.
one more card draw mechanic for energy, or just buff Cloak Library, and suddenly we are just good. Like one more card advantage mechanic, and we are just good.
I'd say if they fixed it or gave you a draw mechanic, yeah, I'd say energy'd be more playable. I don't know how competitive it would be, obviously, without testing, but
Because it would allow us to just go higher in the resources while still getting the cards very quickly, which means we could abuse our forges and our Solemn Giants. So
I also
enough.
kind of like how all the analysis is basically done from the point of view of the current ranked meta,
Yeah.
where
That's-
you have no idea who you're about to play against. You don't know. There's like no sideboards. There's like no drafting. Like we haven't considered any of the cards in draft yet,
I
right?
hate that there's no sideboard. I miss sideboard so much.
I mean, you played with it.
Yeah, like I've played with it and I love it. I like even other competitive games I've played that are TCGs. You need a sideboard, and especially for this game, there's so many subpar cards that would be so good for sideboard.
Well, like a sideboard against a particular player, or like
No,
against once you get to like see each other's decks and
sideboard
then sideboard or
was
something.
a thing in the Invitational.
Yeah,
For
it
example.
is.
It
Really?
was-
Yeah.
we had it in
I didn't know that.
Invitational. And
I didn't play the Invitation also.
I really don't want to spoil anything important, but I have to say a lot of players said it's fucking RNG, and they were like really upset. I don't know if it was because they were losing, and one of the players like come and said, "Oh, he was really bad," and the second one came and said, "Oh, he had the best drops, the perfect responses."
Well, I mean, everyone's going to be a little angry about losing, right? So,
What can you do?
I mean-
It's a best of 3, so hopefully, like, it's gonna even out.
I didn't know
Exactly.
there was a sideboard. That's
Yeah.
cool.
like,
Sideboard
the only
and
thing
best
you
of
could ask
three.
for is a mulligan. Like,
And
mulligan
best
would
of
be really
five.
nice for this game.
I mean,
It's
would
very
it really help? Like, it would still influence that you are drawing shit after it, and like your first 6 initial cards actually aren't as important as what you will draw after.
Well, I mean, it just
Yeah,
depends
it's
on what style of mulligan. Like, there's two different styles where you choose specific cards to put back, or you put back your entire hand.
Oh,
I think putting back your entire hand would be better because I don't really agree with having perfect draws every time. But a mulligan of some kind is really needed for this game. Like,
Yeah, I agree. There's really no reason not to add it in.
I don't like
think.
draw. Like, I don't like them draw winning against me, and I don't like draw losing because I just draw like all 5 drops. So I can't do anything for 4 turns.
mm,
How do you think they should do it though? I mean, I know some games have like a penalty for mulliganing.
if it had penalty for mulligan,
There's lots of ways you can do it, right? I mean, you can
I kinda like
have
Magic.
-1 card.
If it was one less card, then mulligan would be just bad, because
Yeah, like sorry.
You'd
you
still
would
play
have
it, right?
-1 thing to sacrifice, and that's like really important, especially early on. Like,
You'd still play it once in a while, though.
I just do it Magic's way, where it's 1 free mulligan, and any mulligan after that is -1 card.
Yeah, that sounds good.
maybe.
I'd like
You could
some-
do like you could go crazy and do stuff like idle damage and stuff, right?
Oh yeah. That would
Yeah.
be cool.
Idle damage would be interesting. Take one idle
Like
damage.
lose an idol for a mulligan.
Someone
or
play
one.
Magic?
I don't know.
That's
Lose-
like a really extreme,
Lose the
right?
idols for mulligan. We don't want you to play mulligan, so two idols dead and good luck. And then the guy just comes with Copper Automaton, Whip, and Magma Pack, and goodbye.
Yeah, but like 3 damage to an idol or something, or 5.
Yeah, 1 to every like faith chains. Would be cool.
Oh yeah, maybe 1 damage to every idol.
It's like mulligan like 4 times, take 4 damage to every idol.
Oh man, the Solemn Giant will one-shot all the idols.
Yeah.
2 OP.
There's lots of ways you can mulligan, basically. Lots of ways it can be implemented.
From
I don't know, like, I saw actually one different suggestion that I should maybe bring up, and that was like that people could choose 1 or 2 cards that they would always start with.
that
But, like,
sounds.
I don't like that. That's Infinity Wars, and that's not for us.
That's not even Infinity Wars. Like, that's a completely different mechanic.
Yeah, I
Like
think it would break some of the decks.
I don't know. That's just. You'd have to really format the game around that. Like, that's a massive game-changing mechanic.
Yeah,
you can't
it
just
is.
throw that in.
It would change a lot. And also it would, on the other hand, the guy who was suggesting it said it would deepen the experience of deck building. Like, it would be actually more important than just having which cards have in to actually then choose the few ones.
What I would like is the option to have like tons of different game modes and stuff later on, like
That will
draft, like not just draft, and like you could have like 40 scrolls decks, or like even silly stuff where you're allowed to have like 5 copies of each
Oh,
scroll.
you're talking
or
about
just
different
No
formats?
rares. I like the idea of no rares for
Yeah,
example.
no
you're
res.
talking about
No res is
Pauper?
like one of
Yeah.
the
There
cult
will
classics,
be-
right?
There definitely will be
Yeah, I
limited
think so.
formats. There will be limited formats, but they said they don't necessarily want to do a classic draft, but they would rather do something that's more adjusted to the digital platform that Scrolls is played on. So
Oh, that
we,
sucks.
Yeah.
we can actually like look forward to playing something completely new and mind-blowing, or it might just be worse than
I think
draft.
this is the kind of thing we can look forward to, like when the release comes around.
Yeah,
I think.
I think maybe even earlier.
Well, when
But-
Decay comes out, that is version 1.0, so we're no longer
Is
beta
it?
when Decay comes
Really?
out. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. Wow.
I'm like
Huh,
kind of
interesting.
sad though that they don't want to put in classic draft. Like classic draft is so nice.
Well, I don't want to judge it before they come up with something of their own.
Oh yeah, no, of course. Like I'm gonna whatever they put out, I'm gonna give a fair shot. It's just depressing that they don't want to also put in classic draft alongside it with whatever they're doing.
We'll also always have Scrolls Guide for it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind doing classic draft just for fun, but yeah, you can do Scrolls Guide for it. But I kind of just I don't mind like drafting like 1v1 as well. But yeah, stuff like that.
What I was really
I think
hoping
if a
to
lot
see,
of people really want it, they'll introduce it.
what I
Yeah.
was
But we'll see.
really hoping to see was if they would introduce classic draft alongside with Decay, and in the point where you would pay money to get into the draft, and the winner would keep some of the cards that they would draft, like all rares.
Yeah,
for
you're supposed to keep
example.
them. Like, you're just supposed to keep all when you draft like that.
Yeah, or something like that, and people would actually collect Decay while playing this fun mode. It would be really fun.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Fun way to
I-
print cards, because like now the market it will be just
It would
ugly.
have to cost a lot though.
Yeah, but they
Hopefully, it just won't be those guys who like go to Friday Night Magic to play draft and they just take all the rares and make like the most awful deck just to keep the rares.
That sounds awful though, because the only people who do that are people who couldn't win normally anyway. Like,
No, they're
Magic's
not trying to
really
win. They just
skillful.
want to keep all the rares. Like
No, but that's what I'm saying. Like, if you go and do that, it means you already know you can't win anyway. Because if you could win, you might as well win. You get so many more packs from winning than you would from just like taking the rares anyway.
yeah.
I don't know.
I
But
think
yeah, but
if
but
there
you
will
don't win.
ever be a fifth color, then I would like to see it introduced alongside with some kind of limited mechanic like this. But unfortunately, Scrolls team is a really small team, and every feature is taking quite a long time. So
Yeah. I don't know. Like, whatever they put
Scrolls
out
really
is
cool,
decent.
though. Like for what is a very very small team, they've made a really good TCG. Like,
they did.
like it's a very impressive feat to make in what is quite a competitive market as well. Like a really good TCG.
Well, that's because it doesn't actually fall into a TCG market. To be fair, like, it's really not a TCG. I don't really know what to call it, to be honest.
But it's cool. It's like really fun. It's
Yeah, no, it's definitely fun. It would
so
survive
much fun.
anyway.
It's like, yeah, I've kind of mentioned this before, but like, I have so much respect for people who make TCGs because it has to be like so hard. Like, make something that's slightly overpowered, and everyone is just gonna cry at you, and you have to fix it. So,
Just
Oh.
a side question.
it's just cool, I think, that this kind of thing can happen.
Was there anything interesting in terms of questions in chat in the past 10 minutes? Because I actually crashed with my chat.
There was one person, Feel My Mojo, who said, "Oh my God, BrTarolg looks so pretty." So yeah,
That's so
a cool
important.
question.
That was like the most important. Oh,
Sorry.
Thank
man.
you for informing us.
That was also a question, definitely not a statement.
Yeah, it was a question, so let's discuss it through and through.
I disagree.
I disagree. I think when he
The
spreads his
speculation.
hair, it's nicer.
We're all awful people.
That was so vain of me. I'm sorry.
It's alright.
It's a board game with cards. Yeah, pretty much. I agree with what the
Oh,
big
yeah,
said.
that's a good one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's a really good one.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
it's,
it's-
have you guys played Hero Academy?
No,
No.
No.
I want to play it though. It looks fun.
It's
What
fun.
is Hero Academy?
I've actually never even heard of it.
It's on PC and iOS, and it's like a board. It's kind of Scrolls, really. But
Oh
it's-
wait, I've seen this.
It's really interesting.
Is this on Android?
I don't know. I think it's only iOS, but they may have edited it. I didn't play it in a
Okay,
while.
would it be any good to play on my mobile phone?
It's
Isn't it
really
like
good.
iOS only though? That's kind of sad.
It has PC too, and it has Team Fortress Steam in it. So
But I'm not gonna play it on my PC. I think.
yeah,
Okay.
Where am I?
it's like
Why not just play Scrolls?
I wish the mechanic this has had Scrolls. I actually completely forgotten about this. If Scrolls had a mechanic when you could play games while you are away from computer, just pass on the turn and the other guy.
Yeah, I played that TCG
when
like that.
when as he has a time, he would come to the computer, play his turn, and go away, and you could play like game for a week in this way over email or something.
There is a game like that
I
I
would
really
love
like.
it.
It's called Frozen Synapse.
Oh yeah, Frozen Synapse is one.
Oh,
of
you
those.
played that? Oh,
I did not play it because I did not really
Frozen
like it.
Synapse. Artworks really.
I was
I'm sorry,
I
but
played
that's
it
just...
and I was awful at it, man. I kept
Yeah.
losing to the AI.
Maybe you shouldn't talk about that now, but just if you played that game, you're awesome to me.
TB likes it, so TB probably doesn't too. But I was so bad at it. It's too
And you were going like, oh, it's just like Scrolls, and I'm like, no, it's nothing like Scrolls.
To me, it's like Scrolls.
Is it really?
It's like no, it's in the way that I kind of play it in the same way. I take a look at the turn and I try to figure out like the best thing to play. I guess in that way, it's like Scrolls.
Oh, it's a
I
turn-based
have to
game,
think.
so it's exactly like
Turn-based
Scrolls.
game.
Turn-based
No, it's more
games.
like I have to think and I have to plan what my opponent is going to do, and I have to pick the best.
There's so much more mind gaming in that
Thing
game
to
than
play.
there is in Scrolls. Come on.
Oh yeah, but it's not as controlled. Yeah,
Can you build decks in Frozen Synapse?
no, that's a good thing I think.
Oh, for you definitely.
I'd love it if Scrolls wasn't like build
CCG?
deck. I'd still play it if it was like
Do you just want
StarCraft
to
and
play
you just
Magic?
pick the faction.
Heroes of Might and Magic? Is it like the game you really want to play, and you're just here because there is no good Heroes of Might and Magic
Dude,
competitors?
Heroes of Might and Magic was so fun.
Yeah,
Oh, I love that series.
I never played it, so
I loved 2 and 3, and then I didn't play it.
I played
Yeah.
some like Heroes of Might and Magic 5 Alpha once.
3 was really good.
And then I just didn't enjoy it. So
3 was like the best. Everything else of that was kind of like, ugh.
Yeah,
Dunno.
3 was awesome. But that's quite a lot of topic. Do we have anything else we want to talk about?
Yeah, I don't know.
Mm, okay, yeah, I have one question. Any suggestions that like really serious suggestions on the test server? What scrolls you would change? Because I have 2 Stormrunner 2 cost and Lumbering Maghead 4 cost. Those are my 2 suggestions for now, at least.
there's a lot of stuff that could be changed, but there's nothing that broken, so I wouldn't normally change anything.
I'd change a lot of stuff. I'm just trying to think of like one right now. I'd probably just give the sister of the bear some form of effect. I don't know. Like maybe like immolated. Like if she hits something, it takes like 1 damage at the start of its next turn or something. If she doesn't kill it, I don't know, something like that.
Oh, so it would be essentially 5.
Something like that. Yeah. I mean, it might be too good, but I don't know. As it is, I wouldn't play it.
Maybe.
I think when I think of cards that I want to change, I think of broken cards. So cards that actually like break the game, warp the meta game, kind of warp everything around it, and like everything becomes centered on that card. So I think of cards like Miasma Well.
We talked about Puppet and Necrogeddon as well.
Oh,
Yeah, Puppet
They
and
are not
Necrogeddon.
like overpowered, but
Necrogeddon's
they're kind
like,
of like shouldn't.
Like Necrogeddon is in some ways underpowered, but it's
I'd
still
say
a
it's
broken
underpowered.
card. But it's still broken. So
It's a stupid
that's kind of
mechanic,
why
that's
they
all.
change it, right?
It's a stupid mechanic that's bad. Like,
Okay,
the card is
Yeah,
bad.
but it could be too good in the future or something. It
Yeah,
could break
I-
games in the future.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I
One-
changed Necrogeddon. I
one-
changed Miasma Well because it kind of warps Decay versus Decay. It's kind of pigeonholing Decay a lot as well into running it, and it's a very warping card. It's not necessarily overpowered or underpowered.
It's pretty OP. Costs
it's
2.
it's more a reflection on like Decay as a color in that it still gets crushed by order. So
One point that I would like to bring up is there will be more decay scrolls. So everything we are testing right now, I think, should be like taken in mind that there will be more scrolls, and if they will not be shit scrolls, then decay might very well become overpowered. Like
Yeah.
True.
if there is something it has a lot of synergy with what's currently in, then that might be taken into account too. So that's why I would rather maybe let Decay be not so powerful right now and wait for the card releases until it catches up with the others.
I wouldn't even say Decay isn't really powerful right now. Decay is really strong, and the main thing I would change with it, honestly, is nutrition working on creatures only.
but then what's the point of Puppet
For Puppet,
Soldier?
I'd rather change Puppet.
What do you... What do you mean? Puppet Soldier's still good. It's a wall. If you
No,
kill
it's
it,
not. It's awful.
sure it is. How? You put it in front of
It's
an idol. They
useless.
can't kill that idol.
Yeah,
Yeah, but that's not.
unless it's
I'd argue that's not good
But
enough.
like the game isn't about killing idols. It's about like
Okay,
getting
so
all
you can
control.
block off an entire lane.
the game is not about killing idols.
Yeah, it's
It really
actually-
isn't.
like has there been like Metal Wonder is like the only exception to that basically, and that's
No, it's
like one
not.
scroll out of like
But-
200
I mean, the game is
something.
centered around killing
Oh,
idols.
but
Oh,
you
the
say it's centered
decimation,
around
I
playing
guess.
idols, but let this is how I play Order, for example. I basically never do anything to kill idols
And
unless
you
I like
heal your
have
own
to.
idols
Yeah.
because
I never
you're
play a
OP as
single
fuck.
scroll to kill to like damage an idol ever, and I don't think you do that either.
No, nobody does.
But like you just take board control, and then you win because you can kill idols. You don't win.
Yeah, like
You don't like.
That's the way it is
Kill
now,
idols.
anyway. That's the
You
way
just
it
want
is
to get into a
now.
position where you can kill idols and win.
even if you say
Something
Puppet
like that.
Soldier is useless, though, if you get rid of nutrition Puppet Soldier is way too strong.
Yeah, but I like the idea of it. I like the idea of there like being this combo with nutrition that
But yeah,
affects the
like
whole
you,
row.
the
But-
card you want to change is Puppet Soldier, not
So maybe
nutrition.
we
Oh,
talked
what would
about
you?
this
How
a
would you
bit
change
in
Puppet
chat.
Soldier though?
I don't know. There's
Curse
like
poison or
yeah,
something.
curse poison or
Maybe
That's awful.
Maybe if
Why is
Puppet
that
Soldier
awful?
would
why is that
only do,
awful?
like,
You just
Tell me
like
why that's awful.
discarded that.
What if-
Because there's already so many other. Like, I'd rather play Blightbearer. It does the exact same thing.
No, but wait,
I could just
you-
nutrition that.
No, but it curses, unlike poison for 3 turns. It basically you do 6 damage.
Okay, I
Just
didn't
over
hear
3
the fact
turns or
that you
something.
said it curses as well.
What
That's
if-
Yeah,
interesting.
yeah, whatever.
What
It's
if-
just a suggestion. It could
Yeah.
be anything.
What if it just dealt like 4 to 5 damage to everything on the row?
Yeah.
That would mean potion
Yeah.
of resistance would actually still be good, and
Oh,
enchantments like might still be good, and tanky
Yeah.
units could.
Like,
still
there's a
survive.
lot of things that you could do with Puppet Soldier to change it, that to have the similar kind of feeling.
Yeah,
I'd
I think
still rather
just
just change-
nerfing nutrition is kind of a cop out.
Yeah.
I'd still prefer just nerf nutrition though. That's I don't know. Changing Puppet Soldier is like
So it's like when you're nerfing nutrition, you're basically you're making Puppet Soldier bad and kind of useless. Sorry, like Puppet Soldier just will be useless without nutrition.
okay, that's fine.
And B, then you're just nerfing nutrition on top of that, and it's like
Oh, nutrition is useless to begin with. Nerfing it that doesn't really make a difference to it. Just makes
And you
difference to
still
that
have this-
combo.
does.
And by the way,
Don't
you
wanna,
still
like,
have
remove
this one
Prozac.
card that will be broken the moment someone finds a ways to kill it.
Fine. Like I'm fine with changing Puppet Soldier. I'm just saying I would probably just change nutrition. I don't have a problem with Puppet Soldier's mechanics by itself. I just have a problem with the fact that you use one growth and one card to kill an entire lane. Oh, sorry, 2 cards.
Yeah, that is a problem. But nutrition, I mean, there are cards which in the future are going to be good and like have really cool interactions and should do. And nutrition is like one of those cards. And it's like I think it'd be really lame to kind of nerf nutrition.
Like, I cannot think of way to nerf nutrition, so it's still kind of usable in future. But I cannot think of many ways how to nerf Puppet Soldier, and he would still be playable. So
Like I wouldn't mind Puppet Soldier being more playable without nutrition for a start.
Like I said, I'm fine with either change, but as it stands, it needs to be changed. If it's a Band-Aid fix, fine, Band-Aid it. Fix it properly later. But as it stands, that is way too good.
It doesn't make the K win every time. So is it
No,
really good?
but it's a stupid mechanic.
yeah, it's like the same with Necrogeddon. It's not necessarily overpowered, but it's not fun.
It's perfect.
Well, I mean, it is
Same like
overpowered, though.
Mangonels, by the way. Mangonels aren't fun too.
What?
Yeah.
That's pretty good, like-
Arcox is thinking of all those times that he plays Mangonels. It's like I had so much fun playing
Yeah.
Mangonels.
Yeah.
It's extremely fun.
Okay, even looking at it like
wait,
that, like
wait. Why is Mangonel not fun?
because you have to play, you have to play against it.
Wait, what? But why isn't it like a fun mechanic to like make people move around stuff? I think
Why is
Thunder
it
Surge
not
is fun
fun
because I
mechanic
have to
to
play around
punish
it.
people for?
I think Puppet Soldier is fun in a way because I have to play around it. It's just like a thing that I have to mind.
I would
It's
say
more
the,
complex.
the games that I played with Artrox, playing Tricolor Decay or Dog Decay, or whatever the hell you want to call it, like Dog Decay against Late Game Order, were literally the most fun thing that we ever did for like ages.
Okay.
It was the most fun matchup we've ever played, and it was like really intense, really back and forth, and it was balanced as well, which is quite an achievement.
That's actually really interesting. All of the games I played with those matches, Order just destroyed the God Decay. Like, even with like the Puppet Soldier Nutritions and stuff, the resources just won on the game. You just didn't commit the board, you resourced up, and Decay couldn't push fast enough, and then you just win the game.
Well, I mean, I don't know, maybe Aatrox was making a load of mistakes. All of the people who were playing Dog Decay just weren't very good at playing. I don't know, like, or maybe they had the wrong kind of Dog Decay deck. Like,
Maybe.
it took me quite a few iterations to get to the one I got, so.
That's what I find interesting, that we had two completely different results testing.
I mean, I've played about 30 to 40 games of it, just against late game Order. So, I don't know.
Maybe Artworks is just really bad.
Yeah, maybe you suck, Aatrox.
That would like ruin all your testing.
Yeah.
You'll have to play against someone else.
Yeah, I need to find a new partner. You're awful. You just get lucky. You always draw Imperial Resources in turn 7.
That's what I
Yeah.
do.
Oh, dude, GG Resources. Good game.
He's that guy who gets Imperial Resources in turn 7.
And then 8 and 9.
No, not 8 and 9, because that's too soon, right? He gets it on like 11 and 12. Like the
Wow.
perfect time. Yeah.
So
I
you
know.
resources,
Yeah, I play turn 7,
clears
and then I get a bit ahead, and then I just play Imperial Resources again.
resources,
That's my strategy.
mangonel, speed, resources. Is it something?
Yeah,
like
he's that kind of guy.
And this guy actually calculated the percentage chance of me drawing it in turn 7 as well.
Yeah, it's
and it's basically a coin
53%.
flip.
It's a coin flip
Wow.
which you won like way too many times.
Wow.
Point to the wrong way.
Okay, let's have a look at the chat quickly. Blinky's there. Puppet Soldier has to trade 1 for 1. 2 for 2.
Artwork sucking sounds,
Ah,
sounds
shut
really
up,
likely. Yeah, Kira, it is very likely.
Oh, wait, was Kira right? Is he trolling?
She maybe is. She probably is.
She, sorry.
Hmm.
This is
Yeah.
the face of everyone like reading chat at the same time.
Oh yeah.
Well, your face is covered by your nameplate most of the time because you are the most active camera guy on camera. You're like one time you are here, then you are here, then you are here. It's like I'm not.
I
into
tried to
this.
center
Oh, I'm
myself
really happy to hear
somewhat.
that.
Am I like too
Like,
fidgety?
right now you are at the awesome spot that we have set it up in the beginning, but in the meantime you are all over the place. You are just like.
Oh.
I'm always to the like far left because I'm like
I'm
laying
just-
back, or far right, whatever.
Really old. Oh, here was one thing. So, someone like Muckhead is broken for sure. Okay, so I kind of want to make a distinction between broken and overpowered. Broken, like when I think of cards that need immediate changing, and that's kind of what the test server is for. These are cards which destroy the game. They break the game. So they warp the whole game. They warp the meta game. Like imagine if this God Draw was just unbeatable and there was like nothing that could beat it, then that would be broken. But there are cards which are like overpowered, and that's fine. Like there's nothing wrong with having cards that are overpowered because this is Scrolls. It's a card game. You know there are always going to be cards that are better than others. So cards that are overpowered would be like Veteran is overpowered, but
Yeah.
that's fine. Lumbering Muckhead is way overpowered, but in a kind of way that's kind of okay. It's not something that totally destroys the game. Like imagine if you were to change it to 7 attack and 5 health or something like that, then there would be things you could do to tweak it to like make it
Oh,
not overpowered, as it were. You know, you could start changing stats or maybe change its cost. I would prefer changing stats, but changing its cooldown and its cost. You know, making it maybe 4 cooldown and 4 cost, that kind of thing. But then there are cards which are just like broken, and there's like nothing you can really do about it except kind of scrapping and redesigning the card. A card that would be kind of like Necrogeddon, where
I guess
I don't know.
No ID
You
is
can't-
the
you
best
can't-
example we have.
no ID as well. Like you could make a no ID like a 3-1-1-1, like a 1-2-1 or something awful like that. Then maybe, but
oh, I'd still play that if it gave me the growth permanently again. Turn 3 Veteran is overpowered. Those were fun days.
But yeah, like Necrogeddon, it doesn't matter how many cards it gives your opponent or doesn't give your opponent, it's still going to be a broken card. So that's not you can make it 8 cost or 9 cost or 10 cost. It's still gonna be broken even if it's underpowered. So there's a distinction between broken and overpowered. So Muckhead is overpowered. That's pretty. I think people are pretty on an agreement with that. It's definitely overpowered.
I don't know. I think you could balance it just by raising its cost by 1. Honestly, I don't think it needs a
Yeah.
massive change.
Yep.
I think cost by 1 would be too much. I think I'd rather reduce its stats.
Really? Do what?
I think reducing its stats would
Yeah.
actually be too much.
Yeah. Like,
I like its stats.
stats are so interesting. Like, what would you do? Change his health, maybe?
Like
5
7
health
attack,
would be
5
good.
health, 3 cost.
7.
I'd play that. That would be cool. But it's more to do with like the cooldown initiation thing, because playing it on turn 3 is already a bit iffy because it doesn't attack, and you know it's not going to attack for another 2 turns. And then you're trying to get as many kills in like as soon as possible in terms of tempo to get it to activate. So if you make it a 4 cost, you're basically you're never going to play it as a 4 drop, as a 4 cost because of that. Like on turn 3, you can still do stuff and play things in the board and be kind of okay, like giving up that sort of half tempo, as it were. With 4 cost, you can't really. So you're just designating it to become a late game card, which is fine in some ways, but it depends whether you're okay with that or not. It's taking a big use out of the card.
I don't think it boils down to that hard. Decay is a much slower deck to begin with. I don't think raising its cost by 1 would kill the card or make it go super late game. It's just an efficiency nerf. It's just making you think a bit more about playing it. It's already an excellent wall. Like, keeping it at 6 health means it's still a really good wall. And it has a decent amount of attack. Like, well, it has a good amount, but I mean, like, you have ways to manipulate deaths. That's the thing, right? Like, you can choose when your stuff dies a lot of the time, and that's gonna, like, that's why I think it should be at 4, because it's not that hard to get its attack off, honestly. But, looking at stats is
It could be alright on 4 cost. It could maybe like 4 cost, 4 cooldown. I don't know. Like,
Okay, so Darkblade is saying in chat that forecast is all it needs because it would make the card awkward because there is a lot of power in 4 drops in decay, so you would actually have a lot of 4 drops and you would have to do more choices. Which
yeah,
is
that's kind of
a
what I
good
was
point.
thinking.
Good point.
Yeah.
Like,
I guess there's a lot of things you could do to it.
I really
kind of
wanted
depends on.
forecast.
It doesn't need a big change. It just needs a tap. Either the lowering of the stats is fine, or the raising of the cost is fine, because its overall design is fine. Like, its overall design doesn't need to be changed.
No,
Just it's
I
like
like it.
baseline stats of some kind.
The design is awesome. I just think like,
Yeah.
if decay can stop at 3 to 4 resources, it's really good for them. Like, they have so much power in such an
Yeah, but
early
if
resources.
you kill all their things, then they can't do anything suddenly because they are only 4
But-
resources. So
Usually when you kill their things, the other things get more powered, or they just replace it with something else.
And bear in mind, again, it is okay to just have something completely overpowered, like, because that scrolls. Like,
What?
it's totally okay to have something that's overpowered as long as it doesn't break the game.
Yeah.
Like, how overpowered is Imperial Resources?
Yeah,
Whoa, like, if you're comparing, like, levels of overpowered, are we really gonna say that Lumbering Markhead is, like, more overpowered than some of the power cards that the other color has? Other colors have, like, Imperial Resources. Whoa,
but
that's...
Imperial resources
like,
are
that's
mainly
way-
broken.
God Hand, like, whoa. Veteran, like...
Well,
you know,
that's the
if I
thing,
had
though,
a
then-
choice between Lumbering Markhead and Veteran, I know which one I'm playing.
See, you have to understand though, OP is not okay. Like, saying OP cards are okay, that's not okay. You have to choose where you want your power curve to be. If your power curve is veterans, resources, etc., that's fine. If you want to keep it at that level and release cards that are near that power level, that's fine. But just having outstandingly OP cards isn't, like, if they're OP, they
It
probably
doesn't
need to be
break the
changed.
game, does it?
I think the point is like OP versus breaking the game. There's
Well,
like
I mean,
distinction. So
just because it doesn't break the game doesn't mean it's not an issue, though.
Okay,
That's the thing.
honestly, I would love to see changed Imperial resources because I think they are too much, and Lumbering Markhead is maybe on that level, not necessarily because of the scroll itself, but because of the synergy it has, like what it allows Decay to do.
I don't think I'm gonna comment on the Imperial resources because I'm pretty sure I'm biased.
I
Just
am
because
pretty
how
sure.
much Order I played. So
I think, like I
discuss.
said, I think it's okay to have Imperial Resources be ridiculously overpowered, because it is ridiculously overpowered, and that's okay,
But
because
why is that okay?
Scrolls works
I don't
around
think
that.
it's okay.
Like, because decks are more than just the sum of their cards.
No, they're not. You can put, like,
Yeah, they are.
Order is a perfect example of just putting really good cards into a deck. You can just put good cards into a deck and do well. It's not more than the sum of their parts.
mean-
If a card is bad, but it's synergistic, you're still not going to play it.
Also,
But if a
another
card, go ahead. Sorry.
another thing about Imperial Resources is they probably wouldn't be as good if it wasn't for Mangonel speed. So
Like Mangonel, yeah, I mean that's
what breaks
kind of an
Imperial
example,
Resources.
right? Like
It's like the synergy between them. And now imagine having
like Mangonel is kind of objectively in a lot of ways just bad, but it's
It's good
you know
because
Scrolls is more
it's
than the
good
sum
because
of its
Imperial
parts.
Resources allows you to make this one
Yeah.
combo.
Imperial Resources allow it, and
that-
speed
that's kind of-
and focus, you know, like,
I
and that's
can't
cool.
res- I mean, Imperial Resources kind of makes late game order possible, I guess.
And it's
That's
like, it's
kind
like
of
Nutrition
interesting.
and Puppet, right? The
That's
two
the-
cards separately are not that good on their own either, but
Yeah, but
together
now you're just
they,
talking about an OP combo. It's not a sum of all other parts, though. It's just 2-card combos that are just really good. Like, you have to take a look at cards individually as well. You can't just say some of their parts and it's okay that they're overpowered. Like, if something is that strong that I can put in Mangonel, and I can put in Mangonel because of how good Imperial Resources is, that's an issue.
No, that's
I'm-
fine. I think that's just a synergy between two
That's-
cards.
yeah,
Whoa.
it's
It makes
like-
it
not
makes the
okay.
deck style that's like you can now play a deck centered around getting 3 very specific cards, and there's like this mechanic that allows it. I think that's kind of fine. And I'm not saying that's like Imperial Resources is or
Like-
isn't OP, but I'm saying the fact
Imperial
that
Resources
the
is-
fact that Imperial Resources allows you to do the Mangonel combo, I don't think that's a problem.
But Imperial Resources is so good, it makes a bad card good along with it. That's a problem. It's dragging these other cards that would otherwise not be that great because of how game defining that card is. In the mirror match, if you don't play resources, you lose.
But
That's an
wait,
issue.
so is general like bad because it makes speed good? I mean,
No,
this
general
would be
by
much
itself
better
is
than
good.
speed if general didn't
If-
exist.
The thing is, if
Well, I'm
speed
not
doesn't
sure
Speed
about
didn't
exist,
exist, I
Something
would
like
play
that.
general. Like,
if speed didn't exist, of
Yeah.
course I'd still play general. Its stats are good for its cost, and its effect is still good. It'd just be a slower game for order. But I would never play Mangonel if resources didn't exist.
Yeah.
There's no way.
And I would never play Resources if Mangonel didn't exist.
Yeah, exactly. Actually,
Because
but
like
well,
I'm
that's
not
not
sure
true.
about that.
Actually, I'd probably still play it.
Yeah, I can still
Well,
play that. Imperial Resources
still
still
play
let me like
Imperial
play
Resources,
double
not
Scholar
Mangonel.
on the same turn, so
maybe you would play it, but it would be much harder to get good use of them. Like in this.
like tempo order would suddenly become legit if Mangonel didn't exist, right?
Yeah.
Like,
And then all of a sudden, you wouldn't even play Imperial Resources in that deck. You'd be playing, and you wouldn't even run 3 copies of General. You just like run 2 copies of General,
Maybe.
and you'd
I don't
be
know
playing
about
like
that.
Crossbowman and like Wing Shield and like Wing Soldier and do Cal Infantryman. You just go like all out, like
It's a
all
lot
out
of
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
assumptions at once. That's a lot of assumptions at once.
It is, yeah.
I don't think we can go that far, but
You can try it. Like play. I'll play against Artrox later, where he's not allowed to use Mangonel.
Did we get to this discussion from Maquette? We did, right?
Yeah,
So
we were just talking about OP cards.
And what's the conclusion on the Maquette? Should it be changed or not?
It just needs a tap. Yeah.
I think it's fine if you change it, and it's fine if you don't. To be honest.
I still have in my head that there will be a lot of new decay scrolls coming, and they could potentially break decay to levels unknown. So
Well, I mean, when those come out, you just have to reevaluate all the other cards.
yeah,
But until then-
I would rather change the decay now than let it go to live server, and then after something is released, oh, we are sorry, but your good cards that you spend your cash on, we are nerfing them because
Yeah,
we
exactly.
actually did not realize. So I would rather change stuff now before we.
Yeah, that's the only issue with like releasing it to live and changing is that if people start buying it and then they change it afterwards, that's kind of
the
a bit
thing
weird.
is that's kind of iffy about that though is that we're only gonna have like a limited amount of time and we're a limited amount of people, so there might still be things
It's not
that like
really
comes up
perfect.
that needs to be changed.
Yeah,
in the
yeah,
future.
but we should change as much stuff as possible.
Yeah, like that's the thing. Like, even if other cards come out that break Muckhead's already so good that it needs a change. So anything that comes out that complements it even further will just like
Yeah.
multiply the issue. So just tap it now, and if it needs more tap because there's some amazing broken combo with it, where more stuff comes out, then look at that after. But as it stands, it's just a little bit too strong.
Yeah.
I think you get away with not changing it. But yeah, that's my
For
thoughts.
now, if DK say like it is now, then you would, but you don't know what they will want to come up with. I'd rather have stuff on like a little bit under the radar than have it this around. Like when you just compare it to Mortar, it was the argument that it all started with. Oh wait, it's a Mortar that can attack and it's relentless and stuff. And when you compare it to this, it's,
I don't know, dude. My mortar hits like 80% of the time. I'd probably take my mortar over that. But I mean, card to card, yeah, Muckhead's a lot better. Like infinitely better.
Yeah. But there's a
They're
problem
barely
with
comparable.
comparing card to card, though.
And Mortar was still.
I know we
really-
did that a lot on the last podcast, but
Oh yeah.
it's
maybe
like
that is.
you still have to consider the fact that it's actually in a different color. So
Yeah,
like
of course.
if Muckhead
Scrolls
costs
scrolls are
three
more
energy,
than the
which
sum of
one
their
would be
parts.
better
Right?
than- Yeah,
No, they're not. No.
of course they are.
So yeah.
There are exceptions, but very much so. If a card is good by itself, it's just going to be better with everything else. So if it's already OP by itself, it's going to be even more OP with support. That's like whatever. It just needs a tap. It's not that bad.
Yeah.
There's like Imperial Resources needs a change before it, in my opinion, and probably a couple other cards.
I cannot imagine.
I mean,
how many
before I
games-
start changing, if we go down that route of like, okay, we're gonna evaluate how good this card is and whether it's overpowered or underpowered, then start making tweaks, you're gonna go through a lot of cards. Like, do
Yeah.
you really want Kinfolk Brave to be like objectively as balanced as I don't know, Gun Automaton or something?
Well,
Like,
considering those two are not even remotely comparable, no. But
well,
I
they
would
both
like.
cost 2.
And
Wait,
yeah,
oh,
they both
wait,
have
what?
the same attack.
Did you just say
They
veteran
have the
cost two?
same.
No, Brave.
No.
He was
Oh,
Brave.
I thought, didn't he say
Gun
veteran?
Automaton.
My bad.
Brave to Gun.
Brave is infinitely better than Gun Automaton. That's not even like.
So does that
It's not even a
mean
contest.
have Brave and buff Gun Automaton?
Well, I mean, yes and no. Like things can be strong, but if they're too overpowered, they need to be changed. If Mojang didn't already say they wanted
Okay,
to change
the
stuff,
thing is, Brave has so many responses, whereas the Lumbering Mughead, it has high countdown, and it takes a while before you get it going, but it doesn't really have all that many answers. It's very hard to counter that card. Like
So
energy has
it's because
VP.
it fits differently with the other cards. Does it? Or...
Yeah, it does, but
Mm,
I don't know.
And I
This
mean,
is
you can make
dumb.
other comparisons as well. You know, there are other.
there are
I mean, does that mean Hellspit
or
and
not
Water
infinite.
needs a buff? Like, let's say like we didn't think Lumbering Marquette was too overpowered. Does that mean Hellspit and Water needs a buff? Like,
Yeah,
you don't even need to do direct comparisons. That's the thing. Like you can see if a card is too strong. If it's too strong by itself, with support, it's even better. Muckhead is too strong by itself. Mortar isn't.
I'm not
Mortar
so
is
sure.
fine.
I mean, even top TCG and card game players are notoriously like well known for making mistakes like that. So it's like, you know, they're really famous for just underestimating stuff early on, and then the meta just having a huge shift like 2 weeks later when one guy discovers something. You know, it's
So,
like
are you
so
saying
common
Bucket is
magic,
fine?
right? Like,
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that happening. Like none
Yeah,
of us is gonna
same.
expect it, and it's just gonna be this.
Yeah,
weird
so are you
thing.
just saying Muckhead is fine? Muckhead's not at all too strong.
I'm not sure if Bucket is fine. We're gonna have to see, I guess.
I don't know.
I think it's gonna I think it it wouldn't be a problem to release it as it is now, and I don't really think the main purpose of the test server is to figure out which deck is the best, because that's not gonna happen in the time frame we have,
No.
and we don't have the resources to find that out.
I don't know. I won't touch on that, I guess.
Alright, so what I would rather do is nerf Mughead now on test server before releasing it, and then the community out there finding out, oh wow, it's as broken as no idea, and how the fuck, okay, all those test servers.
But we do know that it's not as broken as No Idea. Because the reason why No Idea was a big deal is because it crossed the line between being overpowered / broken. Like,
Yeah.
it crossed into broken territory. It just broke growth versus growth.
No
it
Idea
just
was
broke the game, right?
No
Like,
Idea was a bad example, but still, I would rather change the
Yeah.
card now, change the scroll now, and have it forecast, and just to be safe. Like, and then if DK suddenly isn't doing all that good, then oh yeah, you like this girl, we actually can bring it back and be happy now. And I would rather release it a bit underpowered.
I mean, that's what the tester is for. It's to test the cards. You want to see if they're too strong. That's the entire point.
Yeah, and we have seen it's really strong.
It's too strong. It needs to be changed. It doesn't need a big change. It just needs an efficiency nerf. Whether that's stats or cost, it's fine. It's up to Mojang to decide.
Iron Ogre used to be broken as hell. Did he have 2 countdown? Wow.
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 Oh, my chat's on a delay. You're getting to like see that before me.
Really?
Yeah.
It's like blink his chat, blink his message.
Yeah, I've seen. It's on like a 4 or 5 second delay.
Oh, that's all
Wait,
right.
I'm reading it
Yeah,
now.
it's not that bad.
Yeah, I think like we are kind of starting to go into circles.
We have been for a while.
Yeah.
It's really come down to BrTarolg and Aatrox's view versus mine, really, and you've just kind of been commenting on like
yes.
your own, but it's not nearly as like opinionated as ours.
I was just trying to pretend that I fit in here. Just like
I mean, yeah, it really helps that it's been like me and Tarog have been testing a lot like on the same stream, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Isn't
all
it
this is
surprised
really
we come to
down
like similar conclusions? Except Artrox's luck.
And the reason we're arguing is that we all like really like this game, I guess.
I'm
Yeah,
arguing
we-
because I disagree, to be honest. But yeah, I
You do?
do love
Oh,
it.
really? Okay.
Well, I
Well,
like
I
the
really
game,
like this game at least.
but I mean, I
That's
just
why I
disagree
wanted
with your
to
viewpoint. That's why I'm arguing.
Perfect.
Wow, old
Yeah,
Iron Ogre. That's pretty
So
cool.
Scream, is there anything else you
957.
wanna bring up?
Wait, what the hell is this old Iron Golem thing? It's got this 5 underneath it.
I don't know what it is, and I don't want to get into discussion. What did you say, Prozac?
I just said, is there anything else you want to touch on, or I mean, we've kind of been going in circles. So
Yeah, we have been, and I'm trying to think about.
if you don't have anything else
something.
coming up, we probably should just end it off. Probably.
Yeah, probably, yeah, because there's really nothing. Oh, yeah, actually, one thing. But I don't want. Okay, what I will do is explain the state of Invitational, because yeah, now is the time when people actually start hating me from like when they shift from disliking to hating me, because I did not do my job very well. Like the tournament is running. We have third place decided, and we have 2 finalists. But some stuff happened with Summoner, as some of you probably know. Summoner broke, and updating the game actually deleted some of the replays, and I was trusting the players, and I did not check if they actually sent the replays they needed to send. So some of them might be lost.
Well,
I'm
to be fair, there was also 2 different types of replays. That was kind of an issue.
Yeah, and like one of them doesn't work because the scores posts are just bugged, and the classic ones are lost for a few matches. So I'm still doing my best to recover it and find a way to get it on, but it's taken a lot of time, and just today I actually have kind of a converter from the old version of the classic replays to new one. So it will take a while before anything will be really released to you guys. So I'm thinking week to 2 weeks, and some matches might need to be skipped and just explained by the players, maybe, or somebody just going over what happened. I'm not too sure how I will decide on that, but Darryl, can you please stop typing because it's really
sorry.
loud. Okay, great.
Oh, shit.
Chat has
Kind
been
of keyboard.
really raging about it. I don't mind
Oh,
because I
shit.
can talk, but chat has been. So yeah, that's what's happening with the Invitational. I still need a lot of time because there's a lot of games to be casted really, and we don't have functional replays still, so nothing has been casted yet, and which wouldn't be a problem. I would not be apologizing for it, but losing some of the replays and not actually trying to not getting the the players to submit them properly it sucks. It's like, yeah, we might have. I'm not saying they are lost and they will not be recovered, but we might have lost some of the replays because some of the players sent only the scroll post ones, and one player, for example, did not send anything, but he thought he did, and I did not check it, and he would send it now, but the problem is the new scrolls patch just wiped all the replays, so it's not possible to find them. So what I'm hoping that will happen with those is I will be able to convert the scroll pool replays to the classic one and maybe make it work. But I'm not really sure. And second thing that is not really playing into my cards is there can be more scrolls update, breaking those even more, and everything can really just cycle. So I've learned of that, and I know I will not do a second invitational before.
Wait, can't you get a hold of an old client?
Not really, because it will auto-update itself. I would really need to ask Mojang maybe, but it would take them time, and I don't want to take up their development time, and they will probably not be willing to do it. So next invitational is definitely going to be when spectating is in, and this one I'm trying to recover the best to make it not so embarrassing for myself. But yeah, at least I can tell you that third place is decided and first place will be decided very soon. And while you will not hear the results, I will maybe pay them out once they are finished with the games, because I wanted to still make you an opportunity to donate to the prize pool while the tournament would be casted, but it would take just too long, and the people that won the games, I think they would deserve the money right now, and they have been asking for it, so I'll discuss it with them, with those 3 persons. But yeah, this tournament, it hasn't been as successful as I hoped. Things really failed, and I'm apologizing for it. I will write all this what I just said into a blog post on my blog and have it there, posted on Reddit and stuff, so people would know. But that's what has been happening. But we have been building up other stuff in the background, like we have been building up a website that will be really cool. We should have a mod in game and bot in game and all that. But I think it will really kick in everything in second season, and second season will come when there will be some kind of spectating. So that's about what I wanted to say about Invitational. And since 2 of you were in the tournament, without giving any kind of spoilers, do you want to talk about how it has been handled or anything?
Well, I have to think about what I'm going to say without spoilers. Give me a sec.
Yeah.
Well, I can start then, I guess. I think up until like the replays breaking, it was really great. I think it made like playing scrolls a lot very interesting, I guess.
Yeah, having them break and having the pause and the hype following up to the invitational was it really did hurt a lot of things. And also I wanted to say one more thing that I'm really just happy about, and I maybe shouldn't be talking about it, but I think that the invitational actually did hurt the scene a bit. Without going into details, some of the players were salty that they lost and they needed to take a break, and it went into some players being inactive, and that did hurt us a bit. I'm not saying any names. Yeah. Some of them took a break even without losing, really, and for all I know, some of them might be in the finals. I'm not going to spoil it, but a lot of those players said they needed to take a break after losing to an RNG fest.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't say, like, I can't speak for them, obviously, but you don't quit over an RNG fest. You were already probably going to quit, and this was the motivation to keep playing. So once you're out, they probably just lost that motivation. I wouldn't say it's any detriment to the actual tourney.
But they will be coming back.
Might have kind of pushed it a bit, but I think, yeah, it's very true that if they quit now, they probably would have quit at some point in the future anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, they did not necessarily quit, but they took a pause. Like, they did quit playing for a little bit. I'm not saying they just rage quitted the game, but they like needed the time to cool off, and they kept playing because of the tournament. Yeah, that's true too. Like, I had messages people saying like they are playing because of the tournament, but still they said I will quit after the tournament, and some of them are still playing. So that's nice to see. It's just, this game has a lot of passion going for it both ways. People are really positive, sometimes really negative, sometimes. I am sometimes very negative and sometimes very positive.
Gaming communities are notoriously difficult to deal with, so...
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Like, on a lot of levels, Scrolls is a great success to me. I mean, it survived a lot of the great difficulties that a game like this would usually come across, which may not be so obvious to most people because we survived it, you know, like.
We did, and with Decay, I think we will get back to where we were. I hope. But yeah. And do we want to talk about the Invitational a bit more? Should I maybe say what I was thinking I would do for next season?
Sure. I mean, whatever. Go for it.
Yeah. So okay, what I was thinking is that inviting base of 15 top ratings is not actually as good, and it should be maybe a more consistency thing, and maybe having regional qualifiers, maybe weekly qualifiers. I did not decide it, but the choosing of the players will not be based on rating. While some of them might still be, there will definitely be a defending champion, and maybe the top 3 to 5 from this tournament might be invited again. We'll see. Not sure about it. Then weekly qualifiers, regional qualifiers. I was hoping to do it like more consistent, not having it just, oh, here's the tournament and okay, we have people now, give us 1 month to 2 months to prepare it and just stream it in a week. Like make it more into a process, make it not be one-time thing that happens every now and then, but make something out of it, some kind of maybe a league. And what I can say about the website that we are building, the developers behind it are kind of really passionate, and they thought of their own things, and they will actually the scrollsiron.com will have a way to host your own tournaments that will be connected with a lot of things, and at least I hope, if they will not say fuck you and kick me into the ass, but they said it would have this, and after the invitational turn is like finished, the first one, then we will release it and try to build something on top of it. Like, yeah, together with the mods and bots that Level is making, I think we should make a really good system for things to follow in the future. While this necessarily wasn't the biggest success in the world, in future it will be better and better and better.
I don't know. I think it wasn't too bad the first time.
I wasn't in it, so I wouldn't know.
Well, the main point of the tournament was to broadcast it and to have people watching it, and so far there was no broadcast, so I wouldn't say it wasn't so bad.
Well, that's because of technical difficulties, though. Like, that was out of your control.
Yeah, it's a shame we had to rely on mods to do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
We should have considered that, I guess. But oh well.
Yeah, I was so hyped for doing it that I just did. Like, I was walking to work one day and I thought, wait, I can do this. Let's put my $50 and do a tournament. Suddenly it was $750 and people messaging me with all the stuff they want to help with. And I was like, okay, we have a thing going on. And then, yeah, technical difficulties happen. But yeah, it has been definitely a good experience for us. It has showed me personally a lot of things on the ladder, on the meta. Like, people are talking about what color is really good, what is really bad. I have some really good statistics. I have some really good statistics on the colors here, and I think like having best of 3 with sideboards actually shows a lot. So yeah,
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to that. I haven't seen anything from the Invitational because I'm not in it, right? So
yeah, I have all the decks.
thanks for doing it, by the way. Like, that's really cool that you went and did something like that. I wouldn't have the initiative to do that. So
Thank you all the.
it's very brave of you.
Yeah, it was really brave, and I'm kind of regretting it a bit because it's hurting my name now when I'm not broadcasting it. But yeah,
To be
I
honest,
your
you're
name.
gonna get some stick anyway, regardless of how well or bad it turns out. So that's just natural from the gaming community. So I would say stick with it. It kind of qualifies you in a lot of way to make the next one, if there is going to be a next one.
Yeah.
You don't achieve success without a lot of failures in between. That's a pretty well-known mantra. So
Yeah, just, it's like maybe some people don't like it, but like at least they know about it.
Yeah, I just can't wait. For a month now, I've been waiting to show people the results and the decks and show them, See what I'm saying? See what I'm saying? And this is why I'm thinking this. And yeah, I wanted to get it out, and it's just so
Yeah, like when you
hard.
get it all out, it's gonna be really cool. Like there's a ton of content. Even though there's stuff missing, there should be a really decent amount of content, and
Yeah.
it's gonna really show off what the meta was before Decay releases too.
Also, one
Yeah.
thing that I just want to talk about it all day. One other thing that I'm really but I'm really happy for is that I am giving a lot of opportunity to every caster who really signed up for it. So I even contacted some people myself, but I like there will be a lot of casters, and we will actually have a good comparison on who we like, who we should start following, who we should support into casting, and who we should like say, hey, you are doing this good job with casting, please do more, and somebody might actually start doing it a bit more. And yeah, there are names like Way to Fail Self, who most of you probably know. He's awesome. If you don't know him, then just subscribe to his YouTube. Well,
Like who? Sorry.
Way to Fail Self is his
Okay.
YouTube, and he's just awesome caster. And he like
He's a really cool.
He,
like,
he
YouTube
casted
caster.
a game where I lost against the triple
yeah,
elder.
he casted quite a few of my games, so I might.
Where you
be
lost to a what?
biased.
Triple elder.
The only game I
Like,
remember.
oh, he casted one of my
that
games.
guy. Oh my god, I remember that. He casted a game where I disconnected
Wait,
at
let me
the
see.
end.
Let me
Yeah,
see.
against me.
I
Against
was
me.
so mad.
I posted it to him. I was like, I won against Prozac. You should cast
Oh,
it.
you won because I disconnected. My router died.
I know.
actually had game.
I know. It was awesome.
I'm so
Wait,
mad.
how do I find him on YouTube?
Way
Way to fail
to-
scrolls.
Should we like
Self. Way to
round
fail
up the
self.
podcast and then do this kind of thing in post?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, maybe, but just yeah. Okay, let's end the podcast for the VOD. So everyone who was watching to this point, you really have time to spare, and you should maybe start doing something productive. No, I'm just
Yeah,
joking.
watch me.
We
Don't listen.
love you. We love you. Thank you very much for watching. And youtube.com/heartofscrolls is where you will find all the past and future broadcasts. And Twitter @heartofscrolls is where you find Twitter of Heart of Scrolls. Even though it doesn't say much, it says when we are going offline and when the VOD is up. And for me, I'm iScream. You are on my channel on Twitch. If you are watching from VOD, it's twitch.tv/iScream. I stream a lot and I scream a lot, and that's about me. Twitter @DJETELINA if somebody for some weird reason would like to follow me. And now you guys plug yourselves.
You guys go ahead.
Oh, I have something to plug.
You're streaming.
Okay.
Stream.
Yeah, I stream sometimes with this guy. Yeah, he's really cool. Like
The other side. Like he's
the-
here.
that
It depends
guy.
on where you put your guys, because he actually did it right the first time for me.
Okay. Yeah. Ultrox is a cool guy. And thanks to the people who like my stream and watch me. That's pretty cool too.
Well, that's the best plug.
Thanks to that like person who said I was pretty. That was pretty cool. Like, that was like the only thing that I'm gonna specifically remember about the chat.
So, Atrox, you have a plug?
Yeah, sure. I have stream as well at some points in time. So the best way
What,
to
with this guy?
like see when I stream, I guess, is to follow me. And I guess if you want to catch every time I stream, you should follow BrTarolg as well, because I hop onto there a lot. And I also kind of do YouTube. It's kind of like at a low point right now because it's more. I guess I'm more inspired to do YouTube when I'm laddering. I guess I've come to conclude. I think I haven't really got anything to do here and like video-wise and test server because we do all the things on the stream. But yeah, the links to that is going to be in the description, I guess. So I won't bother telling you the URLs.
Okay.
Next person.
All right, so guys, I am Prozac, your favorite antidepressant. I stream daily. I'd ask you guys if you like my stream, check it out. I have VODs up. If you like it, follow. It's twitch.tv/Papa Prozac. It's the exact same way you'd think it would be spelled. I look forward to seeing you all when I start streaming. So thank you guys so much for watching this VOD, or this podcast, sorry.
Wow, he had that prepared.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
didn't know what I
Or
was
he's
doing.
just really talented and experienced. I'm not
Yeah.
sure.
I don't think you. I think you scripted that.
All right. So with that,
the
VOD
best.
is ending. Everybody on YouTube, goodbye. We'll see you next time.
Goodbye.
Bye bye.
All right, take it easy, guys. Have a good night.